Chapter 1481 My Sweetheart, Wholeheartedly. The warship approached the continent, and Lin Moyu clearly felt that there was a majestic force enveloping the entire continent. This is the power of an other shore realm expert, an existence that Lin Moyu cannot understand for the time being. The continent is surrounded by mountains, and among the mountains is the ocean. If the distance is far enough, it can be seen as a lake floating in the starry sky. After entering the continent, you will know that this is actually a vast ocean. The ocean is vast, with blue waves, and there are islands on it. The islands are thousands of miles small and tens of thousands of miles large. Some islands are covered with forests and trees, and some islands are grasslands, where you can see various animals running around. In the center of the ocean, which is also the center of the entire continent, a giant island floats in it. This island has a diameter of more than hundreds of thousands of miles, almost occupying a quarter of the ocean, and is the largest of all the islands. The warship stopped in the sky above this island. Zhu Tian took Lin Moyu out of the warship and landed towards the center of the island. Lin Moyu checked the island during the descent. The island has a flat terrain with many green grass lakes. A large number of houses have been built on the island. The houses are huge and simple, like palaces. The entire island is filled with misty air. Stepping into it is like being in a fairyland. As the distance got closer and closer, powerful auras were sensed. Each aura represents a genius. There are already many people here. With his powerful soul-sensing power, Lin Moyu quickly counted the total number of people. There are a total of 89 people, the weakest is a God King first level, and the strongest is a minor God Sovereign. Oh, they are also here. Lin Moyu sensed several familiar auras from them, and a slight smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Zhu Tian took Lin Moyu straight into one of the palaces. The layout of the palace is somewhat similar to the mission center, and there are also mission platforms erected. As soon as they came in, a young woman immediately greeted them. The woman clearly knew Zhu Tian. Lord Domain Master, is this the candidate you recommended? As she spoke, she looked at Lin Moyu beside Zhu Tian, with a slight smile. She has a pair of bright big eyes, revealing playfulness and cunning. When Lin Moyu saw her, he felt that her demeanor and temperament were somewhat similar to Ning Yi, and he couldn't help but take a few more glances at her. The woman frowned slightly, but did not express anything, and the smile on her face did not disappear because of it. Zhu Tian said, "That's right, I'll leave the next things to you to arrange." "Okay, no problem," the woman responded very respectfully. She said as she bowed to Lin Moyu, "Please come with me, sir. Let's register first." Zhu Tian also waved his hand. "Go ahead, if you have any questions, you can ask Xiaomeng, she will tell you everything. These days, get familiar with everyone." Lin Moyu bowed to Zhu Tian, "Junior understands." Zhu Tian left, and the woman named Xiaomeng couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Facing the existence of Zhu Tian's peak God Sovereign, she was more or less nervous. In fact, most God Kings, even minor God Sovereigns, would have nervous emotions when facing Zhu Tian. Even some God Sovereigns would also be somewhat nervous when they saw an existence like Zhu Tian. This has nothing to do with age, it is a natural reaction caused by identity, status, and strength realm. However, these problems are not problems for Lin Moyu. In the small world, Lin Moyu was at the peak of the world. He has been dealing with existences like Antares, still respecting the strong, but not afraid. When he first entered the great world, he came into contact with the God Sovereign, and he was neither humble nor arrogant. Xiaomeng relaxed and said to Lin Moyu, "Come with me." She turned and walked towards the hall, and Lin Moyu followed behind. Xiaomeng is very similar to Ning Yi in both height and body shape. Lin Moyu couldn't help but take a few more glances. Memories churned in his mind, recalling the bits of happiness in his past life, and missing his wife. Xiaomeng felt that there was a pair of eyes behind her that were always falling on her. The eyes were so hot as if they wanted to see through her. Feeling unhappy, she suddenly turned around and shouted at Lin Moyu, "Can you not look at me like that?" Lin Mo's thoughts were interrupted, the images in his mind shattered, and he gave a wry smile, "I'm sorry, I remembered some past events." Xiaomeng didn't believe Lin Mo's words at all. "Are you trying to say that my appearance reminds you of a former girlfriend?" Lin Mo shook his head, "Not a girlfriend, a wife. Miss Xiaomeng bears some resemblance to one of my wives." Xiaomeng snorted, "Several wives? You actually have several wives?" Her words carried a hint of disdain. seemingly quite dissatisfied with Lin Mo having multiple wives. Although such things are normal in the great world, it is not uncommon for a strong person to have several or even a dozen wives. After all, the bloodline descendants of the strong are more likely to produce strong individuals. However, most young girls don't like that. Lin Mo put away his thoughts. Let's not mention the past. Miss Xiaomeng, please continue to lead the way. Seeking fresh flowers. Xiaomeng glanced at Lin Mo a few more times before turning around and continuing forward, muttering indignantly, he looks quite handsome, but how can he be so unfaithful? Lin Mo smiled. It seems Miss Xiaomeng has high standards for her sweetheart. Xiaomeng seemed to have her secret thoughts exposed by Lin Mo. Her small face couldn't help but turn red, and she pouted, mind your own business. Lin Mo smiled and didn't say anything more, but Xiaomeng couldn't hold back and muttered to herself, my sweetheart is young and promising, not someone ordinary people can compare to. Xiaomeng looked like a young girl in love. In her mind, her sweetheart must be the most outstanding. Lin Mo sincerely congratulated, then congratulations to Miss Xiaomeng, may lovers be united in the end. After a few words, Xiaomeng seemed to have changed her opinion of Lin Mo. A girl's nature is like the weather in March, sometimes sunny, sometimes rainy. 0. Xiaomeng said quietly, it's a pity, I haven't even met him, but it doesn't matter, I'll be able to see him at this 4-star region competition. Hearing this, Lin Mo couldn't help but exclaim, how could she be so determined to marry him without even meeting him? So it's unrequited love. Lin Mo finally understood, Miss Xiaomeng hasn't even met him. What if he already has someone he loves, or what if he's already married? Pay. Expressing disagreement or spitting, stop jinxing it. Xiaomeng immediately retorted, he's only 35, no, he's only 36 years old, and he's already a god king. How could someone like that, who is focused on cultivation, get married so quickly? Besides, I've researched his information. When he came to the great world from the small world, he was alone, so it's impossible for him to be married. And people who have seen him say that he's very handsome. A young hero, very likely to be the second war god. Lin Mo was stunned. After all this time, the sweetheart Xiaomeng was talking about was actually himself. Xiaomeng blushed, you should have guessed who I'm talking about, right? Lin Mo nodded, it should be Lin Mo. Xiaomeng jumped up happily, it's him. He's from the Vermilion Bird Star region. Why doesn't Region Lord Zhu treat him as a seed player? It's really strange. It would be great if he could come here, I could meet him first, cultivate some feelings first, so I don't have to compete with so many people. Xiaomeng, full of spring, said to herself. Finally, the two arrived at the deepest part of the palace. Xiaomeng activated a formation, signaling Lin Mo to stand on it. The formation was activated, connecting to the Human Emperor network. Then all of Lin Mo's information was displayed in front of Xiaomeng. Chapter 1482. Mr. Lin, are you really married? This time it was Xiaomeng's turn to be dumbfounded, her whole small face became extremely complicated, and Lin Mo couldn't describe her expression. More than 10 seconds later, Xiaomeng said in a trembling voice, your name is Lin Mo. Lin Mo hummed in agreement. Xiaomeng asked again, are you that Lin Mo? Lin Mo hummed in agreement again. After a few more seconds, a scream came from Xiaomeng's mouth, echoing back and forth in the palace. Lin Mo didn't expect that such a small body could emit such a high-pitched sound. He even suspected that Xiaomeng was cultivating sound-based laws. The sound lingered, endless. Lin Mo looked at her worriedly, are you okay? Xiaomeng shook her head, seemingly unable to believe it, and confirmed again, are you really that Lin Mo from the Vermilion Bird Star region who is number 1 on 3 lists? Lin Mo hummed in agreement again, yes. Xiaomeng continued to ask, you're married? With 4 wives? Married in the small world? Why did you get married so early? People there get married very early, some people have children before they're even 20 years old. Xiaomeng's eyes were lost, her hope shattered. After a while, Xiaomeng said again, but when you came to the great world, you didn't bring your wives out. Lin Mo's expression changed slightly. He didn't want to talk about this issue, and said lightly, let's start registering. At this moment, a substantial aura rose from Lin Mo's body, like mist and smoke, pressing down on Xiaomeng. Xiaomeng shuddered. She felt that Lin Mo had suddenly become incomparably powerful and noble, with a feeling of being unapproachable. Her heart was suddenly gripped, tightened, and she became nervous. This feeling was even more terrifying than facing Zhu Tian. This was a suppression from the soul level. Lin Mo's soul was originally one level higher than Zhu Tian's. Once he activated his soul to release his power, it would naturally be even more terrifying than Zhu Tian. Fortunately, this feeling didn't last long, and Lin Mo withdrew his soul pressure. Xiao Meng finally came back to her senses. All her previous thoughts about Lin Mo had fled at this moment, leaving nothing behind. Xiao Meng began to register Lin Mo and arrange accommodation. Xiao Meng asked, "Mr. Lin, do you prefer to live by the lake or on the grassland? Do you prefer to live in a rainy place or a dry place?" There are many houses on the island, controlled by formations, with all kinds of environments. One of Xiao Meng's duties is to ask about Lin Mo's preferences and arrange different accommodations. Lin Mo thought for a while, choose a place where it rains, preferably by the lake. When he was still in the small world, his hometown was a Zhongnan water town, with frequent rain and abundant water. Xiao Meng quickly selected a house and registered it. "Okay, your identity information has been registered, your residence number is 108, about 2,000 kilometers from the central square. The central square is located in the center of Tinder Island. There you can see some of the preliminary rounds of the star system, but some information requires paying points to see. There are some training places around the central square." Xiao Meng introduced the situation of the entire continent to Lin Mo. This continent is called Wanshan Continent, and the island he is on is called Tinder Island. As the name suggests, Tinder Island is specially prepared for the human race's Tinder. Those who can be designated as seed players by the domain owner and are qualified to come here are all the human race's Tinder. Tinder Island is small but complete. There is a mission center, a transaction center, a time chamber, everything. It's just that in the mission center here, all the missions are within the Wanshan Continent. Under the sea of Wanshan Continent, there are a large number of star behemoths, all of which were deliberately thrown into it by people. These missions are not low in difficulty, of course, whether to do them or not depends on the individual. You can also buy some treasures that are only available in the God City in the trading center. The time house is used for cultivation. It can accelerate time by 100 times. Cultivating inside for 100 days, only one day has passed outside, which can save a lot of time. Of course, the time house is not free and requires a lot of points. When he was in the transcendent God realm, the time flow rate was 10 times that of the outside world, and it cost 100 points per day. Now the time flow rate has reached 100 times, which is 10 times more than before. But the points required have reached 10,000 per day, an increase of 100 times. In fact, the flow rate of the time house can be further accelerated, even if it is increased to 1,000 times, it is not a problem. But in that case, it will not be of much benefit to cultivation. If the time flow rate is too fast, it will also put pressure on the soul. Under a time flow speed of 1000x, the efficiency of comprehending laws doesn't increase much. On the contrary, a time flow speed of 1000x greatly affects lifespan. You might enter as a young man, but emerge as an old man on the verge of death. And the most important reason is that time chambers with a 1000-fold flow are not easy to find and cost a fortune. Combining all these reasons, a time chamber with a 100-fold time flow is the most cost-effective. While introducing this, Xiao Meng led Lin Moyu to his residence. The residence was as magnificent as a palace, about 100 meters high, divided into 5 floors. From this moment on, during his days on Fire Seed Island, this place belonged to Lin Moyu. Without his permission, no one could enter. Xiao Meng's task was completed. Before leaving, Xiao Meng asked again as if unwilling to give up, "Mr. Lin, are you really married?" Lin Moyu was a little dumbfounded. He was clearly only 36 years old, and Xiao Meng was definitely older than him. But in his eyes, Xiao Meng was like a child who hadn't grown up. With Lin Moyu's affirmative answer, Xiao Meng left in disappointment. Lin Moyu did not enter his residence, but went to the central square. Waves of soul aura rose from the central square, where it was very lively. Lin Moyu was very familiar with several of the soul auras. Zhuang Bai, Chu Shang, and Xu Jiangxing were all there. Besides these three, Zhang Ziyu was also there, representing the War God Temple. The distance of 2,000 kilometers was reached in just a flash. Such a short distance was only a step away for all God King Realm cultivators. On the central square, a huge projection was playing a ring match. One person was manipulating the water of the 9 heavens, rolling down. The other was controlling the raging flames, going against the current. The two were incompatible like water and fire, fighting back and forth extremely fiercely. A group of people watching the game were now staring at the projection, chanting words in their mouths. Rush up and hit him, take advantage of the moment when his spell just ended, rush up. Blast him with fireballs, blast out the water vapor, and then make a surprise attack, you're really damn stupid. Won't you use a magic weapon 0.1? Get a flame-type magic weapon and burn all the water, wouldn't that be good? A group of people kept talking, looking like they couldn't make steel from iron. There was also a group of people who didn't say a word, but their eyes never left the projection. On the periphery, there was a group of people watching coldly, with arrogance, not interested in the battle in the projection at all. These people were wearing uniform clothes, with the mark of the War God Temple on their clothes, obviously all from the War God Temple. Lin Moyu watched for a while, and understood what they were doing. Two groups of people were betting, the bet was unknown, betting on who would win or lose between the two in the projection screen. Lin Moyu walked over silently and quietly watched the picture in the projection. For him, the battle between these two was like children playing house. After all, it was a preliminary, so you can't expect the opponent to be too strong. Lin Moyu. Suddenly a voice sounded, turned his head to look, and found Zhang Ziyu waving to him. Chapter 1483. Strike while the iron is hot, kick them when they're down. The three words, Lin Moyu, seemed to have boundless magic, immediately attracting everyone's attention. Dozens of eyes looked at Lin Moyu in unison. There was no way, Lin Moyu's reputation was too great. The first on the three lists of the Vermilion Bird Star region. A super god realm at 28 years old, a god king realm at 36 years old, a genius among geniuses, very likely to become the second war god. His reputation was no longer limited to the Vermilion Bird Star region, but was spread in the other three star regions. A black shadow flashed in front of him, and all the light in front of him was covered. The burly Chu Shang appeared in front of Lin Moyu like lightning, grinning and saying, "You kid, you're finally here." His voice was deafening, like thunder. Lin Moyu took half a step back and looked up. "Senior brother Chu, long time no see." Chu Shang laughed loudly. "Long time no see, you kid is really good, now your reputation is almost bigger than the domain master." Lin Moyu smiled wryly, "It's just a matter of luck." Zhuang Bai's cold voice came from the side, "Strength is strength, junior brother Lin doesn't need to be so modest." That's right, with junior brother Lin's strength, there's really no need to be so modest. Another person opened his mouth, it was Xu Jiangxing. Xu Jiangxing did not hide his information, he had already reached the second level of the God King realm. But Lin Moyu knew that his true combat power was definitely more than the second level of the God King realm. Everyone in Fire Seed Island, without exception, had the ability to fight beyond their level. If you can't fight beyond your level, are you worthy of being called a human fire seed? Lin Moyu smiled, "Senior brother Xu is too kind." At this time, Zhuang Bai said in a low voice, "Junior brother Lin, your aura seems to be more than the first level of the God King realm." Lin Moyu's heart moved and released some information, revealing the realm of the third level of the God King. Xu Jiangxing was stunned for half a second, then laughed out loud, "Junior brother Lin has become senior brother Lin." He was extraordinary in bearing, generous, and had no jealousy. Lin Moyu smiled, "Senior brother Xu doesn't need to be like this, I am, after all, a junior." Xu Jiangxing waved his hand, "Rules are rules." Xu Jiangxing, who came from a divine city, has always been a person who abides by the rules. Lin Moyu had no choice but to let him do as he pleased. At this time, an arrogant voice sounded, "You are Lin Moyu, the first on the three lists of the Vermilion Bird Star region." A group of people walked over from the side, they were wearing uniform clothes of the War God Temple, the leading people were arrogant, and one of them looked at Lin Moyu indifferently. Looking at his appearance, Lin Moyu could probably guess what was going on. People from the War God Temple have always felt superior. This is a recognized fact, and there is no need to see it to believe it. He did not hide his information. Wei Bowen, realm, minor god venerable. No wonder he is so arrogant, he is actually a minor god venerable. Looking at him, he is quite young, and it is really not bad to reach the minor god venerable realm. Lin Moyu said politely, "Senior brother Wei, what can I do for you?" Wei Bowen sneered arrogantly, "I dare not give you advice, I just want to ask, why didn't junior brother Lin want to join the War God Temple when junior brother Zhang invited him at that time? Is it that junior brother Zhang's invitation was not sincere enough, or is it that junior brother Lin looks down on the War God Temple?" Facing such a accusatory question, Lin Moyu's tone also cooled down. Whether or not to join the War God Temple should be my freedom, right? Wei Bowen didn't think so. As a member of the human race, one should naturally be proud to join the War God Temple. If it hadn't been for the War God to save the human race from fire and water, the human race would have been destroyed long ago. The War God's inheritance should be the best choice for the geniuses of our human race. So, you refuse to join the War God Temple. Is it that you have disrespect for the War God in your heart? He spoke with his head held high, spoke with enthusiasm, and spoke as if there was some truth to it. Lin Moyu shook his head and sneered, I think that as long as you are contributing to the human race, then you are an excellent human race. As for whether or not to join the War God Temple, that is secondary. Lin Moyu's words resonated with many people, and some of them had long been displeased with the arrogance of the War God Temple. No matter which star you it was, the War God Hall always acted superior. Immediately someone echoed, exactly, just because we haven't joined the War God Hall, does that mean we can't contribute to the human race? Are we not members of the human race? Where were the people from your War God Hall when we were fighting alien races outside? I have carried out thousands of missions, big and small, and experienced life and death, but I have never encountered anyone from the War God Hall. Exactly, what contributions have you from the War God Hall made over the years? Tell us. Including Lin Moyu, there were a total of 90 people present, with only 24 from the War God Hall. The remaining 66 were either from the 4 Great Star Territories or from the Divine City. In an instant, they were drowned in the spit of the crowd. Lin Moyu seized the opportunity to add insult to injury. If all the geniuses of the human race have to join the War God Hall, what about the army? What about the geniuses in the Divine City? Shouldn't all divine sovereigns, including the adults in the Divine City, join the War God Hall? As long as they refuse to join the War God Hall, they are disrespecting the War God. Also, I have read the records of the past 2,000 years. In the Vermilion Bird battlefield, the human race has fought with several major enemy races more than 1,000 times, with countless soldiers and cultivators sacrificing themselves. I ask you, are there any people from your War God Hall among them? If so, how many? If not, what have you done all these years? Lin Moyu's words were like a sharp knife, firmly inserted into Wei Bowen's mouth, leaving him speechless for a long time. Not to mention him, even his colleagues were equally speechless. They couldn't say what the War God Hall had done. In fact, Lin Moyu knew that the War God Hall must have done a lot, but the level of things the War God Hall did was too high for someone like Wei Bowen to know. So Lin Moyu's main strategy was information asymmetry. You want to pin a label on me? You're still too green. The echoing voices grew louder and louder, and none of the people from the War God Hall could refute, and even if they did, it would be useless, as there were too few of them to win the argument. Wei Bowen trembled with anger, and he instinctively roared, instantly unleashing the aura of a lesser divine sovereign. If you can't win with words, you want to use your cultivation to suppress people. Lin Moyu's side also had lesser divine sovereigns, so he wasn't afraid at all. Chu Shang was the first to explode. His aura was extremely violent, not at all inferior to Wei Bowen's. What, you want to fight? Fighting was naturally out of the question. No matter who started it, regardless of right or wrong, they would be punished. Lin Moyu knew that Chu Shang was just putting on a show. Despite his roughness, this guy was very meticulous inside. Lin Moyu snorted lightly and delivered the final blow. Elder Luo once invited me to join the War God Hall, and I agreed to consider it. As a member of the human race, I did consider joining the War God Hall. Now it seems, it's better not to join this War God Hall. When I see Elder Luo next time, I will tell him the truth. Wei Bowen was stunned for a moment, realizing who Lin Moyu was referring to as Elder Luo. His voice trembled. The Elder Luo you're talking about, is it Divine Sovereign Luo Chengken? Lin Moyu said, is there a second Elder Luo in your Vermilion Bird branch of the War God Hall? Wei Bowen's body swayed, and he felt a darkness before his eyes. He realized that he had done something wrong. If he had known that Luo Chengken had also invited Lin Moyu, he would not have come to provoke Lin Moyu. Now, he was in a dilemma, and he had lost a lot of face. Not only had he lost face, but the War God Hall had also lost face. If Luo Chengken found out about this, he didn't know how to explain it. At this moment, he could no longer be arrogant. Lin Moyu didn't want to argue with this kind of person anymore. His level was too poor, and he had become stupid from cultivation. Just as he was about to say something, Lin Moyu suddenly looked up at the sky, his eyes filled with surging surprise. Chapter 1484. I knew you would come. A seven-colored rainbow light approached from afar and stopped in midair in an instant. The seven-colored rainbow light transformed into a flying sword. The woman was dressed in a red dress, stepping on the flying sword, her face was peerless, her demeanor was aloof and gorgeous, and her heroic appearance was unmatched. From the moment the woman in the red dress appeared, all the women present paled in comparison. Whether in terms of appearance or temperament, they were far inferior to the woman in the red dress in the sky. At this moment, they were like ugly ducklings seeing a swan, and even felt a sense of inferiority. The men's eyes were filled with admiration, and even those from the war god hall were now staring unblinkingly at the sky, admiring the woman's beauty. Someone murmured, "See, this is our Fairy Han of the White Tiger Star Territory. I heard that Fairy Han is the most beautiful woman in the White Tiger Star Territory. Seeing her today, she truly deserves the title. I think the title should be changed to the most beautiful woman in the 4-star territories, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration." Hold on, Fairy Han is not famous for her beauty. Fairy Han became a transcendent god at the age of 27, and is now only 37, already a lesser divine sovereign. In terms of cultivation speed, Fairy Han is much stronger than your Lin Moyu, and even stronger than the war god. When he said that she was stronger than the war god, several people from the war god hall looked over with unkind eyes. The man immediately shouted, "What are you looking at? I'm telling the truth." It was indeed the truth, an undeniable truth. I think Fairy Han is more likely to become the second war god. Lin Moyu of the Vermilion Bird Star Territory is at most the third. Lin Moyu, although your cultivation speed is amazing, you are still far behind Fairy Han. Lin Moyu stared unblinkingly at the woman in the red dress, his eyes full of joy. "I have always been inferior to her." In his words, Lin Moyu slowly flew up, heading towards Fairy Han. Everyone felt strange, not understanding the meaning of Lin Moyu's words. Xiao Meng, standing outside the crowd, looked at Fairy Han in the sky, her pair of bright eyes filled with envy. "So beautiful, I wish I was so beautiful. Why did Lin Moyu go up there? What is he going to do? HMPH, stinky men, all the men in the world are lustful, no matter if they have wives at home, they are all the same when they see beautiful women." At this moment, Xiao Meng's goodwill towards Lin Moyu was completely gone, feeling that she was really blind to have taken a liking to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu stopped in midair, looking at Fairy Han in front of him with a smile. Lin Moyu was smiling, and Lin Moyu was also smiling. "I knew you would come, open corner bracket. I also knew you would come." The two looked at each other, and suddenly Fairy Han, whom everyone was talking about, spread her slender arms, and Lin Moyu did the same. The two hugged tightly. In that instant, everyone opened their mouths wide and widened their eyes. What's going on? Why are they hugging? Fairy Han, this is Fairy Han, how could she do this? Good job, Junior Brother Lin. Did you hear what Junior Brother Lin said just now? Junior Brother Lin knew Fairy Han from the start. Everyone finally came to their senses. What Lin Moyu said before was, "I have always been inferior to her." So that's it, I know why. As soon as he said this, everyone looked at him, wanting him to explain clearly. Fairy Han is a disciple of divine sovereign Jian Lan, and it is said that she was a genius brought out from a small world by the Jian Lan divine realm. Lin Moyu also came from a small world. Moreover, Fairy Han's real name is Lin Moyu. Everyone was immediately taken aback. Lin Moyu, although there may be coincidences in names, it is impossible for it to be such a coincidence. Moreover, if you look closely, Lin Moyu and Lin Moyu have some similarities in appearance, and their temperament seems to be the same. Everyone understood that the two were probably relatives. Judging from their age, they were most likely siblings. Lin Moyu and Lin Moyu hugged for a while before separating. Lin Moyu raised her arms, her slender fingers gently stroking Lin Moyu's forehead, smoothing the messy hair between his brows. "Xiao Yu, you've grown up." Lin Moyu shook her jade head gently, meaning that in her sister's eyes, you will always be a child. "Little sister-in-law, do you have children?" Lin Mohan asked. Lin Moyu sighed softly, the joy in his eyes faded slightly, and became a little heavy. "We'll talk about this later in detail." Lin Mohan's heart skipped a beat, knowing that something had happened. "Tell me now, immediately." Lin Moyu knew his sister's personality. "Let's change places." The two transformed into streaks of light and flew towards the distance, disappearing from sight. The people below were either god kings or minor god sovereigns, and they had all pricked up their ears, listening to every word of the two's conversation. Chu Shang used his loud voice, "They really are siblings. Two geniuses from one family, the older sister is even more talented than the younger brother, what kind of small world is this, it's too strong." Someone suddenly roared, "I've decided, I'm going to be Lin Moyu's sister." He came from the Bai family in the White Tiger Star region, named Bai Wei, in the minor god sovereign realm. In the White Tiger Star region, he is also a top genius. His roar once again attracted everyone's attention. "Get lost, what qualifications do you have? Be careful, Sword Orchid God Sovereign will chop you with a sword." "That's right, you're already over 1,000 years old, Lin Mohan is only 37 years old, are you an old cow trying to eat young grass? In a few decades, maybe not even a few decades, Fairy Han will be able to achieve God Sovereign, tell me what qualifications you have. By the time you become a God Sovereign, Fairy Han might have already reached the peak of God Sovereign." "I heard that Sword Orchid God Sovereign is about to reach that incredible realm, you dare to have designs on her disciple, you really don't want to live." One sarcastic remark after another floated over, and Bai Hui's face became extremely unsightly. It's just that what they said was right, and Bai Wei couldn't refute it. At this time, Chu Shang stretched out his big hand and patted Bai Wei on the shoulder. "Brother Bai Wei, I support you, there's a saying in the Azure Dragon Star region, a fair maiden is sought after by a gentleman. It's normal for you to like a beauty like Fairy Han." Bai Wei looked at Chu Shang with gratitude, as if he had found a confidant, with an expression that said, "You're the only one who understands me." Chu Shang sighed, "But Brother Bai, don't have too much hope. Not to mention anything else, you won't be able to pass junior brother Lin's test." Bai Wei was stunned. Although Lin Moyu was a genius, he was only at the 3rd level of the God King realm. Why wouldn't he be able to pass? Immediately, he said very politely, "Please enlighten me, Brother Chu." Chu Shang said, "Junior brother Lin and I have known each other for a long time, his combat power is quite terrifying. Transcending the god to kill true gods to kill god kings, are as simple as eating and drinking." Although Bai Wei was a little surprised, he still said, "If we're talking about fighting across realms, it's indeed very strong, but it seems like all of us can do it." Chu Shang shook his head, No, the kind of fighting across realms I'm talking about is different from what you're saying. Junior brother Lin killed true gods at the 1st level of transcending the god realm, and killed god kings at the 1st level of the true god realm." As soon as these words came out, everyone gasped, feeling somewhat incredulous. Zhuang Bai laughed inwardly, knowing that Chu Shang was starting to talk nonsense and fool people again. However, he was also quite certain of Lin Moyu's combat power. Lin Moyu's combat power was indeed amazing. Bai Wei was shocked, but he couldn't believe it, impossible. Chu Shang said with a smile, "Nothing is impossible, a friend of a friend told me that Lin Moyu once killed a god sovereign in the Vermilion Bird battlefield." As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked again. Fighting across realms below the God King realm is understandable. But if a God King were to kill a God Sovereign, how is that possible? That's impossible. Wei Bowen couldn't help but scream, full of disbelief. Chapter 1485. Lin Moyu is the easiest to bully. Next to Lin Moyu's residence, Lin Mohan sat side by side with him by the lake. Looking at the sparkling lake, Lin Mohan listened to Lin Moyu recounting the things that had happened since he left. When she heard that Lin Moyu had refined the coffin of slumber and put Ning Yi and the other 3 in it, Lin Mohan couldn't help but frown slightly. However, she also knew that this was a helpless move. Ning Yi and the others were limited by their aptitude. No matter how many resources they were given, they could only be promoted to the transcending God realm at most, and couldn't even reach the true God realm. The transcending God realm only has a lifespan of 1,000 years, and they will turn into dust after 1,000 years. 1,000 years is too short for cultivators. Even if they had heaven-defying divine objects and were promoted to the true God realm, so what? The years of several thousand years would also come to an end one day. What Lin Moyu sought was longevity, not just a few thousand years. In this regard, Lin Mohan and Lin Moyu were very similar. The two were siblings and had similar ways of thinking. After that, Lin Moyu talked about his various experiences after entering the Great World. Various near-death experiences, various mysterious areas, made Lin Mohan's beautiful eyes light up. Compared to Lin Moyu's various experiences, Lin Mohan's cultivation process was much simpler. After entering the Great World, Lin Mohan successfully entered the transcending God realm. Subsequently, her talent became stronger, and her cultivation was smooth sailing. Sword Orchid God Sovereign was also extremely good to her, collecting resources for her, leading her to perform various tasks, increasing her authority, and constantly promoting her. Lin Mohan's cultivation realm increased day by day, and her progress speed was astonishing. In just over 10 years, she went straight from the transcending God realm to the minor God Sovereign realm. During this period, Lin Mohan's name also resounded throughout the White Tiger Star region. Everyone knew her, knew Fairy Han. She was not only the #1 beauty in the White Tiger Star region, but also the #1 genius. Because Sword Orchid God Sovereign stood behind her, no one dared to provoke her. In recent years, some people have come to propose marriage, but they have all been strongly rejected by Sword Orchid God Sovereign. According to Lin Mohan, her cultivation talent, after entering the God King realm, not only did not weaken, but became even stronger. The growth of realms was as simple as eating and drinking for her, and the law of the sword she comprehended was also not difficult at all. In another year or two, she will be able to enter the God Sovereign realm. Even Lin Moyu couldn't help but envy Lin Mohan's cultivation talent. In the face of this talent, all cultivation bottlenecks were like nothing. If this cultivation talent can continue, Lin Mohan's future achievement of the other shore is also a certainty, and even surpassing the other shore is not impossible. The two hadn't seen each other for many years, and they talked for a long time, telling each other about the big and small things that had happened over the years. Lin Moyu was in a good mood at the moment. This time in the 4-star region competition, I was guessing whether my sister would come, and it seems I guessed right. Lin Mohan narrowed her eyes, stretched lazily, revealing an infinitely beautiful figure. How did you know your older sister would come? What if your older sister didn't reach the God King realm? Lin Moyu threw a pebble into the lake, stirring up circles of ripples. Just like a pebble entering the water, there must be ripples. My sister's realm must be higher than mine, it's impossible not to come. Lin Mohan chuckled, then you guessed wrong. Originally, your older sister didn't want to come, but thinking that you might come, your older sister reluctantly came to play. Speaking of which, what if your older sister didn't come? Lin Moyu said, then I will go to find Sword Orchid God Sovereign after the competition. Lin Mohan said with a smile, Master is not someone you can see whenever you want, and Master has a bad temper, she might chase you away. Lin Moyu said, she can't stop me. Lin Mohan laughed so hard that she trembled. Little brother has really grown up, and his words have become domineering too. Although Lin Moyu's tone was calm, it revealed a strong confidence. This was an affirmation of his own strength. No matter how strong Sword Orchid God Sovereign was, as long as she was still a God Sovereign, she couldn't stop him. Lin Moyu changed the subject. Over the years, has sister found anyone she likes? Lin Mohan said with a hint of disdain, those old guys who have lived for thousands of years, are they worthy of your older sister? How could Lin Moyu not understand his sister? Indeed, they are not worthy, they are too far apart. Those guys who have lived for thousands of years and only cultivated to the minor God Sovereign realm are too far apart from Lin Mohan. And those who are the same age as Lin Mohan are all ordinary people, not even transcending gods, even further apart. Lin Moyu sighed, but according to your requirements, I'm afraid it won't be easy to find. Lin Mohan snorted, then don't look for one, it's not like I can't live alone. Anyway, if you want your older sister to compromise, no way. Lin Mohan's personality was such that she had her own opinions and was incredibly assertive from a young age. Once she made a decision, no one could interfere. Lin Moyu naturally understood this, so he never forced her. Lin Mohan asked, little brother, what are you planning to do next? Lin Moyu knew she wasn't just asking about himself, but also about Ning Yi and the other 4. Lin Moyu said, work hard to improve my realm and reach a level sufficient to defy fate. Lin Mohan patted Lin Moyu's shoulder, good, your older sister fully supports you. If you can't reach it, it's okay, you still have your older sister. Lin Moyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Was this how a big sister should act? She looked down on him a little too much. However, Lin Moyu wasn't unhappy at all. Then Yi and the others will be waiting for you to save them. Lin Mohan hummed in agreement, don't worry, when your older sister surpasses the other shore and reaches that unknown realm, I will definitely be able to defy fate for my younger sisters. Lin Moyu and Lin Muhan returned to the central square once again. The two of them standing together were like a golden couple, catching everyone's eyes. Everyone present, regardless of gender, felt like they couldn't look away. The men looked at Lin Muhan, while the women looked at both Lin Muhan and Lin Moyu. Xu Jiangxing said to a woman beside him, "Stop looking, your saliva is about to drool out." This woman's name was Guan Ru, and like Xu Jiangxing, she came from Divine City. Her realm had already reached the 9th rank of Divine King, much higher than Xu Jiangxing. After arriving here, she had heard of Lin Moyu's name and was extremely curious about him. Guan Ru's appearance was also very beautiful, a rare beauty, but still not as good as Lin Muhan. Her eyes sparkled as she stared unblinkingly at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu is actually so good looking. Senior brother Xu, do you think I could succeed if I pursued Lin Moyu? Xu Jiangxing honestly said, the chances aren't great. There's quite a difference between you. The woman snorted, isn't it just that she's a little older? But does that matter? It's not just age, there's also a gap in talent and ability, and future achievements will also be very different. Xu Jiangxing was merciless, attacking Guan Ru from all directions. Guan Ru snorted, can't you say something nice? Xu Jiangxing continued to display his steel straight man attributes, no. You. Guan Ru stomped her feet in anger, ignoring Xu Jiangxing. At this time, Xu Jiangxing muttered, that guy is almost here, right? With his personality, he probably won't be convinced by Lin Moyu. Guan Ru's attention was diverted, is he also coming to participate this time? Xu Jiangxing nodded, I heard from my eldest brother that he will come. His level in Divine City has already reached the bottleneck of the initial and intermediate stages. He only needs a little more achievement to be promoted to the intermediate stage. This 4-starfield competition is a good opportunity. If he can win a good ranking, he might be promoted to the intermediate stage. Guan Ru whispered, a simple ranking shouldn't be enough. It would be best if he could suppress several geniuses. Xu Jiangxing nodded and looked at Lin Moyu. Everyone present was a genius, but there were also levels of geniuses. Lin Moyu was a top figure among geniuses, but his cultivation was only at the 3rd rank of Divine King, at the bottom. Chapter 1486. Child's play is boring. Although Xu Jiangxing and Guan Ru lowered their voices intentionally, they were still heard by people nearby. Someone said, that's right. From a realm perspective, Lin Moyu is indeed at the bottom among us, except for a few from the Temple of War. The people from the Temple of War aren't easy to provoke. If someone wants to prove something, they might really look for Lin Moyu. It also depends on whether Lin Moyu agrees. If Lin Moyu doesn't agree, no one can do anything to him. Don't forget, little Divine Lord Chu Shang said before that Lin Moyu could reverse kill a Divine Lord in the Divine King realm. Can't you see that he was bragging and fooling us at the time? What little Divine Lord Chu Shang said is indeed not very credible. Chu Shang said before that Lin Moyu could kill a Divine Lord as a Divine King, and everyone was stunned at the time. Looking back, Chu Shang was actually bragging. Now, most people are skeptical, and a few even directly choose not to believe it. They knew that Lin Moyu's combat power was extraordinary, and it was no problem for him to fight beyond his level, or even several levels. With Lin Moyu's 3rd rank Divine King realm, it was normal to challenge the 7th or 8th rank Divine King. After all, how could someone who could become the top of the 3 lists of the Vermilion Bird Starfield be simple? But to say that he could single-handedly fight a Divine Lord would be too exaggerated. Even a little Divine Lord couldn't possibly beat him. These remarks were basically only spread among those from Divine City and were not disseminated. In the days after arriving on the island, everyone formed their own groups, and factions gradually emerged. The Temple of War was one group, Divine City was one group, and those from the 4 great starfields were also one group. Among them, the cultivators of Divine City were closer to the cultivators of the 4 great starfields and could be regarded as the same front. The cultivators from the 4 great starfields will eventually enter Divine City and live and cultivate with them. The Temple of War has its own system and is naturally isolated. Moreover, the people of the Temple of War have always looked down on others, which is very unpleasant, and it can be said that no one likes them. The formation on the central square suddenly started to operate, and a huge black tortoise image was projected into the air. The black tortoise had a tortoise body and a dragon head, and a long dragon tail on its back. According to legend, the black tortoise and the ancestors of the dragon clan had some relationship, so the black tortoise also had blood similar to that of the dragon clan flowing in its body. Even the black tortoise could be related to the azure dragon. However, legends are just legends and cannot be taken seriously. The sudden activation of the formation attracted everyone's attention. Everyone struggled to move their eyes away from Lin Moyu and Lin Muhan. Someone saw the black tortoise image and said loudly, "Today is the black tortoise starfield's competition. I wonder which star system it is." The range of the black tortoise starfield is the largest of the 4 great starfields, and it also has the most advanced life star systems, as many as 20. They also have the largest number of strong people appearing each time. It's just a pity that the limit combat power of the black tortoise starfield's strong people is not as good as the azure dragon starfield, and they can only compete with the white tiger starfield. A seed contestant from the black tortoise starfield chuckled, "We people from the black tortoise starfield focus on defense, and our attack power is not enough, but it's better to be proficient in one thing than to know everything. Although we rarely win the championship, we are always second or third every time, at least not at the bottom. This time, our black tortoise's goal is also to secure second place and compete for first place." The seed contestants from the black tortoise starfield were also generous and didn't hide anything, directly stating their goals. A seed contestant from the white tiger starfield chuckled, "Coincidentally, this year our white tiger starfield is also securing second place and competing for first place. With Fairy Han here, your black tortoise starfield may only fall to third place this time." The people from the black tortoise starfield were not convinced. "Then we'll see." In their discussion, they unconsciously ranked the azure dragon starfield first. Because in most cases in previous years, the highest ranking was the azure dragon starfield. And the worst was often the vermilion bird starfield. The best result in the history of the vermilion bird starfield was second, and only once or twice. More than 80% of the time, it was at the bottom of the 4 starfields. Just as the people from the black tortoise starfield said, they were proficient in one thing, and their advantages and disadvantages were obvious. But the vermilion bird starfield knew everything, but was loose in everything. Chu Shang snorted coldly, "What are you daydreaming about? This year, the first place belongs to our vermilion bird starfield." TCH. Senior brother Chu is thinking too much. Senior brother Chu, do you want some face? You are the little divine lord, I won't compete with you, but senior brother Chu should also know the combat power of the vermilion bird starfield. Chu Shang was speechless and left a sentence angrily, "Then we'll see." Not only Chu Shang, but the other people from the vermilion bird starfield also looked unconvinced. But the fact was that they were indeed not as good as the other party, and it was useless to just be unconvinced. Zhuang Bai maintained an indifferent look from beginning to end, as if he wasn't from the vermilion bird starfield. Chu Shang said to Zhuang Bai, "Lao Zhuang, say something." 1. Zhuang Bai said calmly, "Facts speak louder than words. We'll see on the arena. What's the point of arguing now? Besides, didn't you say that junior brother Lin can fight a god king against a god emperor? With him around, what are you worried about?" Chu Shang's old face turned red, and he scratched his head, whispering, "You know I was just bragging, trying to fool them." Zhuang Bai remained indifferent. "Perhaps the boast you made will come true." The projection changed again, the black tortoise image disappeared, replaced by a galaxy. This galaxy was extremely prosperous, with as many as 7 life-bearing planets and 18 resource planets. This was a large galaxy with 25 main planets. A galaxy of this size was undoubtedly an advanced life-bearing galaxy. A seed contestant from the Black Tortoise Starfield recognized the galaxy in the projection and shouted, "It's the Black Tortoise number 9 Life Star System, my hometown." The number 9 Life Star System rapidly expanded in the projection, eventually settling in the starry sky. A huge arena with a diameter of over 10,000 miles had already been built there, the entire arena shrouded in formations. To showcase true combat power, the 4 Starfield competition was held in reality. The entire process was controlled by the Human Emperor Network, combined with powerful formations laid down by God Emperors, preventing accidents and almost eliminating the possibility of death. Then, the information of the 2 combatants appeared in the projection. One was named Shui Hongbo, a 7th-order God King, specializing in the law of cold water. The other was named Feng Fu, also a 7th-order God King, specializing in the law of solid ice. After the formation introduced the 2 contestants, everyone present received information about placing bets. The betting range started from 10,000 points, with no upper limit. The odds were fixed: winning would return double the points, while losing would forfeit the bet. Someone shouted loudly, "Betting time!" Betting time. I'm betting on Shui Hongbo to win, a small gamble of 100,000 points. I'm betting on Feng Fu to win, also betting 100,000 points. The scene was lively, and the previous conflicts had long disappeared. Only the people from the War God Palace stood far away, looking arrogant. But they actually placed bets too, they just didn't say it. Xu Jiangxing came to Lin Moyu. Senior brother Lin, won't you join in? Lin Moyu smiled and looked at Lin Mohan beside him, interested. Lin Mohan shook her head. Child's play, what's the point of gambling? Lin Moyu said, the stones from other hills can be used to polish jade. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Junior brother Xu, who did you bet on? Xu Jiangxing smiled, I just randomly bet on one, that Shui Hongbo guy, he looks pleasing to the eye. Lin Moyu also casually bet on Shui Hongbo to win, also 100,000 points, just playing along. Chapter 1487. The characteristics of the 4 starfields, competition rules. A few minutes later, the match began. Shui Hongbo and Feng Fu went all out, engaging in a fierce battle. The law of cold water and the law of solid ice are both water-based laws, and both are known for their defense. Both of them had defensive power far exceeding their attack power, so the battle would last for some time. Someone from the White Tiger Starfield complained, the Black Tortoise Starfield's matches are the most boring, always taking half a day. That's right, they're not as exciting as the Azure Dragon and White Tiger Starfields. Even the Vermilion Bird Starfield is more interesting than the Black Tortoise Starfield. If we're comparing excitement, the Black Tortoise Starfield undoubtedly ranks last. This was the truth, and even the people from the Black Tortoise Starfield present found it difficult to refute. Someone muttered unwillingly, this is our fighting style, it'll piss you off. Lin Moyu lost interest after watching for a while. As Lin Mohan said, it was child's play. If he went up, he could kill them instantly. In the central square, matches from each starfield were projected every day. This also allowed the seed contestants to see the strong individuals from each starfield, which was a benefit for them. However, the strongest seed contestants from each starfield had already gathered here, and most of those who made it through the preliminaries were just foils. After reaching level 5 permissions, Lin Moyu had already checked the basic information of each starfield. Among the 4 starfields, the strongest was the Azure Dragon Starfield. The cultivators of the Azure Dragon Starfield ranked first in attack among the 4 starfields, and their defense was second only to the Black Tortoise Starfield, making their overall combat power deservedly number 1. It was said that the Azure Dragon Starfield once had primordial dragon blood left behind, giving the cultivators of the Azure Dragon Starfield a trace of dragon blood. This trace of dragon blood gave the Azure Dragon Starfield cultivators a special bonus, making them inherently stronger, which was incredibly enviable. The Black Tortoise Starfield's defense ranked first among the 4 starfields, but its attack power was relatively weak. Water-based laws were the most prominent in the Black Tortoise Starfield. Under subtle influence, the cultivators in the Black Tortoise Starfield comprehended the most water-based laws, followed by earth and stone laws. These laws had a common characteristic: extremely strong defense. In addition to being number 1 in defense, the Black Tortoise Starfield also had a special ability. They created the water refining method, using water to refine artifacts, using the inclusiveness of water to represent the explosiveness of fire, and forging a large number of war-type magical treasures and puppets for the human race. For example, imitations of the War God Fortress and various large warships mostly came from the Black Tortoise Starfield. In addition, there was also a special type of cultivator in the Black Tortoise Starfield called summoners, who were rarely seen in other starfields. It was said that the inheritance of summoners was very ancient, even more ancient than the ancient times, and by chance, it turned into bloodline, remaining in the bloodline of the Black Tortoise Starfield cultivators. The summoners of the Black Tortoise Starfield were somewhat special, arousing Lin Moyu's great interest. Unfortunately, the information recorded in the data was not detailed enough to give him a complete picture. Lin Moyu planned to take advantage of the 4 Starfield competition to take a closer look. The cultivators of the White Tiger Starfield liked to use swords, and various laws could be added to the sword in their hands, resulting in evolution and transformation. Their attack was slightly inferior to the Azure Dragon Starfield, and their defense was slightly inferior to the Black Tortoise Starfield. The White Tiger Starfield also had a special feature. The power of belief originated in the White Tiger Starfield and, after years of development, had become one of the original forces of the human race. Through the power of belief, the cultivators in the White Tiger starfield cultivated extremely quickly, and their foundations were very solid. The power of belief could not only accelerate the speed of cultivation and the comprehension of laws, but it was said that it also had more mysterious uses. However, only a few people could use this ability, and the requirements were extremely high. Lin Moyu had asked Lin Mohan, who also possessed a strong power of belief at the moment. Her reputation was very high in the White Tiger starfield, and she had countless fans. Lin Mohan told him that this mysterious use varied from person to person and could only be awakened at the God Emperor level at the earliest. Before reaching the God Emperor level, the stronger the power of belief accumulated, the stronger the awakened ability would be. This was also why Sword Orchid God Emperor had been promoting her, to help her accumulate the power of belief. Finally, there was the Vermilion Bird starfield, which was proficient in everything but master of none. They were not outstanding in anything, but they knew a little about everything. Whether it was refining artifacts, refining elixirs, or the power of belief, they knew a little about it. Unfortunately, this also resulted in the poor overall strength of the Vermilion Bird starfield cultivators, who consistently ranked at the bottom. At the time, after reading the data, Lin Moyu felt that the cultivators of the Vermilion Bird starfield were the most orthodox existence in the human race. The cultivators here had the purest bloodlines, inherited from the ancient human race, without any changes. As one of the 4 original races, the bloodline of the ancient human race would not be inferior to that of the dragon race. It was just that too much time had passed, and the bloodline was too thin to be easily discovered. But once discovered, that combat power would be very heaven-defying. Xiao Zontian was the best example, and he was from the Vermilion Bird starfield. Information about the 4 starfields flashed through his mind like lightning, and the match had been going on for quite a while. The 2 contestants had already used their magical treasures. Surprisingly, the 2 treasures were very similar. Both were a large saber and a large shield. The 2 fought back and forth, enjoying themselves immensely. Both sides had equal cultivation and similar strength, making it difficult to determine the winner for a while. 2. The audience was already losing interest, and some were even starting to yawn. In the eyes of these seated players, this kind of competition was really meaningless. Lin Moyu looked on with some curiosity. The cultivation levels of these 2 seemed to be suppressed. Although he wasn't at the scene, only watching the projected images, he keenly noticed that the power of their techniques didn't quite match their realms. Xu Jiangxing asked, "Senior brother Lin doesn't know the rules of the 4-star region competition." Lin Moyu shook his head, "No one told me." Xu Jiangxing wasn't surprised, and explained in detail, "Actually, the rules of the 4-star region competition are very simple. The first rule is that all participants' realms will be uniformly suppressed to the first level of God King. The second rule is that you cannot use magical treasures with artifact spirits, nor can you use magical treasures that are above the God King realm. The third rule is that you cannot use soul attacks. The fourth rule is that you cannot intentionally harm anyone's life. The fifth rule is that you must stop immediately when the Human Emperor Network calls for a stop. These are the 5 rules, and there are no other restrictions." Lin Moyu naturally understood these 5 rules. The 4-star region competition mainly tested individual strength. If everyone relied on magical treasures, it would be meaningless. Those who had powerful families behind them would inevitably obtain some powerful magical treasures, and the 4-star region competition would become a magical treasure competition. Suppressing the realm to the first level of God King was also understandable. The strength of the participants varied. If the realms weren't unified, what would be the point of competing? One of the purposes of the 4-star region competition was to select promising human geniuses. What does it mean to be promising? At the very least, you had to be invincible in the same realm. If you could fight beyond your level, so could I. It all depended on who was stronger. As for not being able to use soul attacks and not being able to harm people's lives, it was the same principle. This was a competition, not a fight to the death. Soul attacks were silent and invisible, and even the Human Emperor Network would have difficulty stopping them in time. Since that was the case, it was better to simply ban them. The Human Emperor Network acted as the supervisor of the competition. If you still acted when it told you to stop, then you were just out of your mind. People who didn't listen, no matter how strong their potential, wouldn't be valued. Lin Moyu thanked Xu Jiangxing. "Thank you for clarifying my doubts, junior brother Xu." Xu Jiangxing waved his hand. "Senior brother Lin, you're welcome. This is just basic information. Even if I didn't tell you, you would soon find out. Lin Moyu smiled, then suddenly looked up into the distance. Thousands of kilometers away, a majestic pressure was unscrupulously rolling over. Chapter 1488. Let's just say we've met, do you need something? Lin Moyu was the first to sense it, followed by Lin Mohan, and then the others. In the sky several thousand kilometers away, a dark cloud was rolling in, carrying a majestic pressure. God Lord. Lin Moyu vaguely felt the aura belonging to a God Lord, but it was also somewhat different. Xu Jiangxing said, it's not a God Lord, it's the true peak of Lesser God Lord, with 1 foot already in the Law Galaxy but not completely in. It doesn't count as a true God Lord. It was actually possible to operate like this. After the Lesser God Lord reaches completion, their soul enters the Law Galaxy, receives the baptism of the Law Galaxy, and obtains the Law Galaxy's recognition, achieving God Lord status. At that time, they can roam the Law Galaxy and mobilize the power of the Law Galaxy, and their combat power far exceeds that of a lesser God Lord. But he actually had 1 foot in the Law Galaxy, receiving a portion of the Law Galaxy's baptism. In this way, he still couldn't mobilize the power of the Law Galaxy. Although he was slightly stronger than a lesser God Lord, the increase was limited. Lin Mohan's eyes showed disdain. The baptism of the Law Galaxy needs to be completed in one go to achieve perfection. He's putting the cart before the horse, what a moron. Lin Mohan spoke without any reservation. Lin Moyu chuckled, sis, don't speak such blunt truths. Listening to the conversation between the two siblings, Xu Jiangxing's mouth twitched a few times. His name is Dongfang Zi, and he's a top genius in Divine City. Lin Mohan didn't give Xu Jiangxing any face at all. Can a top genius do something like this? More like a top idiot. Xu Jiangxing said with a wry smile, senior sister Lin is joking. Dongfang Zi has a special talent. Although he only received a portion of the baptism, he can already mobilize some of the Law Galaxy's power. And because of this talent, undergoing baptism twice won't have much of an impact on him. Lin Moyu shook his head, even if the impact is minimal, it will become a hidden danger in the future. Lin Moyu had experienced the perfect advancement in the God King realm, and was very clear about this. Even the slightest oversight would be infinitely magnified as the realm increased. Dongfang Zi relied on his talent to minimize the impact, but imperfect was still imperfect. Lin Mohan glanced at Xu Jiangxing, your foundation is very solid. Your achievements in the future will be higher than Dongfang Zi's. Suddenly receiving praise, Xu Jiangxing felt flattered, thank you for the praise, Fairy Han. Xu knows his own limitations. Lin Moyu knew his older sister's personality, my sister never speaks carelessly. Cultivation isn't about who goes fast, but about who goes further. Xu Jiangxing kept the two's words firmly in his heart. The pressure brought by the dark clouds became stronger and stronger, enveloping everyone, as if a large hand was pressing down on them. Doing so was very impolite and revealed the other party's arrogance. How dare you be so rude? Someone shouted angrily, and a powerful aura rose from their body. Looking for death. The people from the War God Hall reacted one after another, and waves of intense pressure soared into the sky. They from the War God Hall had always considered themselves superior. When had it ever been someone else's turn to do this? There were quite a few lesser God Lords present, who was afraid of whom? Ha 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 ha, arrogant and unrestrained laughter came from the dark clouds, and the pressure suddenly increased. Dongfang Zi relied on his own strength to confront more than a dozen lesser God Lords, and didn't seem to be at a disadvantage at all. Judging from the strength he displayed, Dongfang Zi was indeed very strong. It's just that Lin Mohan's eyes still carried disdain, and she didn't seem to put Dongfang Zi in her eyes at all. As for Lin Moyu, he had killed quite a few God Lords. What did someone like Dongfang Zi count for? Xu Jiangxing was on the side, his expression very solemn. He was bearing the pressure brought by Dongfang Zi, and it wasn't easy. Lin Moyu gently patted Xu Jiangxing on the shoulder. Xu Jiangxing's body trembled violently, and all the pressure receded like a tide in an instant, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. He looked at Lin Moyu in shock. Lin Moyu's such a casual action had fully revealed his strength. Could it be that Chu Shang wasn't talking nonsense, and it was all true? A bold guess popped up in Xu Jiangxing's mind, and he felt that Chu Shang might not have been speaking randomly. Lin Moyu smiled and said, are there many people like Dongfang Zi in Divine City? Xu Jiangxing said, Divine City has strict levels, divided into 5 levels, outer, elementary, intermediate, advanced, and top. Dongfang Zi is at the elementary level. In the elementary level, he is considered a top genius. But if compared with the intermediate level, he is still quite a bit behind. However, I've only heard about it. I haven't seen the geniuses at the intermediate level. They live in seclusion and rarely appear. Lin Moyu learned some more information about Divine City. Adding his own guesses and understanding, the image of Divine City in his mind became more complete. Lin Moyu said, he should be close to touching the intermediate level, right? Xu Jiangxing was stunned for a moment. How did senior brother Lin know? Lin Moyu smiled, it's not difficult to guess. The reason why he is so high profile and strong is nothing more than wanting to give us a show of force, leaving us with the impression that he is very strong. The ultimate goal is nothing more than to overwhelm us, so that he can improve his position in Divine City and thus obtain promotion. From the limited information, Lin Moyu had already analyzed a lot. Xu Jiangxing said with admiration, I didn't expect that senior brother Lin hasn't even entered Divine City yet, but he can analyze this information. I really admire you. Lin Mohan smiled, little brother, you are smarter than before. Lin Moyu sighed, there's no way around it. In the initial great world, you have to tread on thin ice. Lin Mohan scoffed, raised her jade hand and flicked Lin Moyu's forehead, don't act so old-fashioned, don't you think about how old you are. Facing his own older sister, Lin Moyu was really helpless. 3. The pressure in the sky finally subsided, as both sides were evenly matched, and continuing the contest would yield no result. In terms of pure pressure, Dongfang Zi could be considered the winner. After all, they couldn't really fight, comparing pressure was the limit. The little divine sovereigns tacitly withdrew their pressure, and those who were not little divine sovereigns breathed a sigh of relief. Under the pressure of the little divine sovereigns, they were not having a good time. The dark clouds dispersed, revealing Dongfang Zi's true appearance. Dongfang Zi looked handsome with delicate features and bright, confident eyes. The aura he exuded carried a hint of rebelliousness, enough to captivate countless young girls. Dongfang Zi cupped his fist towards the crowd, I apologize for my behavior earlier, fellow disciples, please don't take offense. His sudden politeness made it difficult for others to get angry. Chu Shang snorted coldly, if we have the chance, let's have a fight. Dongfang Zi laughed loudly, good, when Chu Shang enters Divine City, we can have a good fight. Lin Moyu gained another piece of information, it seemed that battles were allowed in Divine City. Looking at Dongfang Zi's expression, he was even more certain that he had done it on purpose. Dongfang Zi's gaze swept across the crowd, settling on Lin Mohan. When he saw Lin Moyu beside Lin Mohan, a hint of displeasure flashed in his eyes, but he didn't show it. He moved his feet and instantly arrived in front of Lin Mohan, transforming into a humble gentleman, Fairy Han, have you been well? Lin Mohan looked indifferent, have we met? Dongfang Zi's expression froze, and then he forced a smile, 3 years ago, my teacher took Dongfang Zi to visit Divine Sovereign Zhanlin, and I was fortunate enough to see Fairy Han that day. Lin Mohan said, oh, is that so? I don't remember. Dongfang Zi looked slightly embarrassed, perhaps Fairy Han was focused on cultivation at the time and didn't pay attention to external matters. Lin Mohan still had no expression, let's just say we've met, do you need something? Chapter 1489. This guy's brain doesn't work well. Lin Mohan kept people at arm's length with her indifference. Looking at Dongfang Zi's awkward appearance, Lin Moyu found it a little funny. He knew that Dongfang Zi had chosen to be so arrogant just now for one reason, to show off in front of Lin Mohan. But the result was counterproductive, he didn't show off, but instead became a clown. Dongfang Zi squeezed out a smile in embarrassment, it's nothing, just. He was interrupted by Lin Mohan before he could finish speaking, since there's nothing, then don't stand here and affect my watching the competition. Dongfang Zi instinctively took half a step back, giving way. The scene became even more awkward, and Dongfang Zi felt that he had become the focus of the audience, but this focus was not good, it was a bit embarrassing and he had lost face. Most of these people present would enter Divine City in the future, and they might tell today's events. Gossip was unstoppable, but if he didn't do anything, his previous efforts would be in vain. He would really become a clown. His eyes darted around, and Dongfang Zi suddenly said loudly, is Lin Moyu here? His eyes were extremely sharp, sweeping across everyone. Dongfang Zi suddenly felt something was wrong, why were these people looking at him? No, they weren't looking at him, but at the back of him. At this moment, a clear voice came from behind, what do you want from me? Dongfang Zi turned around abruptly and saw Lin Mo Yu. So you are Lin Mo Yu. Lin Mo Yu looked at him like he was an idiot. He hadn't hidden his identity information, couldn't he see it himself? It seemed that his eyes were too high and he couldn't see some things. Seeing that Lin Mo Yu ignored him at all, displeasure flashed in Dongfang Zi's eyes. The more he looked at Lin Mo Yu, the more unhappy he became. He already disliked Lin Mo Yu when he saw him standing side by side with his beloved goddess. Now, this dislike had increased several times over. Dongfang Zi said coldly, I heard that you are the number one on the 3 lists of the Vermilion Bird Star region, and Divine Sovereign Qingjian has also praised you to the heavens. Seeing you is not as good as hearing about you, it seems that you are nothing more than that, so disappointing. Lin Mo Yu didn't seem to understand the meaning of Dongfang Zi's words, but instead said to himself, Senior Qingjian has successfully been promoted to Divine Sovereign, that's really good news. After saying that, he didn't continue, and Dongfang Zi felt ignored again. He had always been the focus of attention, and he had never enjoyed this feeling. Dongfang Zi was angry, but he didn't know how to vent it. Lin Mo Yu didn't take his words at all, and didn't confront him. His words were clearly malicious, but Lin Mo Yu seemed not to understand. Is this guy a fool? Can't he understand what I'm saying so clearly? Can't we have a good conversation? His face turned red and white, and he couldn't decide whether to leave or not. He received another large wave of mocking gazes, and Dongfang Zi roared in his heart, Lin Mo Yu, before the 4-star region competition, should we compete first? I can suppress my cultivation to the 3rd rank of Divine King. Lin Mo Yu refused outright, not interested. If you have nothing else to do, move aside a bit more, you're affecting my watching the competition. Watch the competition, watch your sister's competition. Dongfang Zi roared in his heart, almost losing his temper on the spot. He gritted his teeth, can't you understand my words? I'm challenging you. As soon as he finished speaking, a sharp sword light exploded in front of him. A ball of golden light burst out from Dongfang Zi's body, and in the roar, Dongfang Zi flew upside down into the air. Dongfang Zi's face changed drastically. It was Lin Mohan who had just attacked. Lin Mohan had suddenly attacked him. Why? There was no reason. Could it be? Dongfang Zi thought a lot in an instant, and he wondered if the two were that kind of relationship, and his face suddenly became extremely ugly. Lin Mohan stood with her sword. If you want to fight, I can fight you, no need to go to the Human Emperor Network, just here. Lin Mohan was extremely strong, and behind her, a colorful long sword slowly rose, with orchids carved on the sword, which were very beautiful. The sword was an illusionary image, but it gave a sharp feeling, and everyone felt their skin stinging, as if sword energy was cutting them. It's the 9 Heavens Orchid Sword, the inheritance of Divine Sovereign Jianlin. I didn't expect Fairy Han to have comprehended the 9 Heavens Orchid Sword to the colorful level, even Divine Sovereign Jianlin seems to be only 8-colored. Fairy Han is indeed the #1 genius of the younger generation in our White Tiger Star region. The 9 Heavens Orchid Sword alone is enough to rival a Divine Sovereign. Everyone sighed, and some who didn't mind the excitement said, Fairy Han, beat him up, don't give us face. From everyone's words, Lin Mo Yu heard that Divine Sovereign Jianlin was a very powerful existence in the White Tiger Star region. Her inheritance was very powerful, and Lin Mohan had obtained the true inheritance, and her strength was extraordinary. Dongfang Zi looked at the heroic Lin Mohan and couldn't help but ask, why? Lin Mohan said lightly, didn't you want to fight? Dongfang Zi shook his head, I don't want to fight you. Lin Mohan sneered, you want to fight Xiao Yu, ask the sword in my hand first. Xiao Yu, she called him so intimately. Dongfang Zi's face became even more ugly. At this time, there were more taunts from the crowd below. This guy is really funny, he wants to compete with Fairy Han's younger brother, and he asks Fairy Han why. Doesn't he look at himself as a little Divine Sovereign, and he still wants to bully a junior in the 3rd rank of Divine King, really shameless. Fairy Han is also a little Divine Sovereign, he won't dare to do anything now, right? He wanted to befriend Fairy Han, but he bullied Fairy Han's younger brother instead. I really don't know what he's thinking. Every word entered Dongfang Zi's ears. Dongfang Zi's expression suddenly became extremely wonderful. 4. Lin Mo Yu was actually Fairy Han's younger brother. Only then did he notice Fairy Han's name, Lin Mohan. Really a younger brother, not that kind of younger brother, but a blood-related sibling. No wonder Lin Mohan was sticking up for her younger brother. He admired Lin Mohan, but went to bully her younger brother. How could he have done such a thing? For a moment, his heart surged, his face turning red, white, green, and blue. He no longer had the face to stay here, and suddenly transformed into a stream of light, disappearing without a trace. Laughter erupted from the central square. Dongfangzi's appearance was like a farce. This embarrassment would probably be spread for a long time, and very widely. Before long, Dongfangzi's story would be circulating in Divine City of Zhao. Xu Jiangxing sighed, now, he's really famous. Lin Moyu chuckled, that guy's brain isn't very bright. Xu Jiangxing didn't know what to say, thinking that Lin Moyu seemed to be right. Whether from cultivation or today's events, Dongfangzi's brain was indeed a bit lacking. Lin Mohan retracted her sword intent, what a waste. Okay, Dongfangzi's evaluation in Lin Mohan's mouth dropped another level, successfully demoted from brain dead to waste. Anyway, the possibility of Dongfangzi pursuing Lin Mohan was already negative. Lin Moyu smiled and said, then I'll rely on my older sister for protection in the future. Lin Mohan rolled her eyes at him, do your own thing. A grown man relying on a woman for protection, do you want to be a waste too? Lin Moyu was completely speechless. In front of his older sister, it was better to be obedient. Xu Jiangxing stood aside, looking like he wanted to laugh but didn't dare to, which was quite amusing. Chapter 1490, Glitching the Great World. The boring match in the projection finally had a result. Lin Moyu lost 100,000 points. This match lasted for most of the day, and the whole process was extremely boring. However, the subsequent preliminaries were much more exciting. Lin Moyu also witnessed the fighting styles of cultivators in the Azure Dragon Starfield. Their attacks were indeed fierce, a world apart compared to the cultivators in the Black Tortoise Starfield. As a benefit for being seeded players, they didn't need to travel around the 4 starfields, and could watch the matches from all 4 starfields. Watching the matches, they could learn about the cultivators, spells, and attack methods of each starfield. The match in the Azure Dragon Starfield had a result in less than 10 minutes. Next, the matches in the White Tiger Starfield and Vermilion Bird Starfield were staged in turn. No matter which starfield it was, the matches were more exciting than those in the Black Tortoise Starfield. After this, Lin Moyu didn't bet again, just quietly watched the matches. Lin Moyu asked, sister, what do you think of the spells of the other starfields? Lin Mohan was as domineering as ever, nothing interesting, just children's games. Lin Moyu continued, our realms are the same during the matches. Lin Mohan chuckled, so what? Let him have 10,000 techniques, I will break them with one sword. This was her sword intent, and also her sword heart, Dao heart. No matter what methods you have, I will break them all with one sword. No matter how strong the enemy is, my one sword will be unstoppable. Lin Moyu gave a thumbs up, older sister, what spirit? Lin Mohan gave him another eye roll, no need to flatter me, it's useless on me. Okay, the suppression from bloodline was a bit helpless. In the next few days, Lin Moyu came to watch the matches for a few more days, and became more and more familiar with the cultivators of each starfield. Lin Mohan no longer appeared, she was cultivating in her own residence. She didn't go to the time chamber. According to her, the time chamber conflicted with her talent, and it would be harmful rather than beneficial to go. Moreover, the 9 Heavens Orchid sword she inherited emphasized the word, comprehension. As long as you comprehend it, you can move forward by leaps and bounds. If you can't comprehend it, it's useless to practice hard for 10,000 years. A few days later, Lin Moyu no longer went to the central square. He had seen enough, and had a good understanding of the cultivators of the 4 starfields, collecting enough information. After summarizing, the answer he got was not much different from what Lin Mohan said. No matter what the opponent's fighting style or spells were, as long as one's own strength was strong enough, they could break it with force. Especially when the realm was completely suppressed to the Divine King first layer, his Divine King realm body was simply an unparalleled weapon. These few days seemed a bit wasteful, but in fact they were not. It increased Lin Moyu's knowledge a lot, and transformed the information he got from the data into real scenes. The so-called, hearing is hearsay, seeing is believing, is the reason. No matter how much data you read, it's not as accurate as seeing it with your own eyes. 5 days later, Lin Moyu entered the time chamber. Unlike Lin Mohan, his current cultivation was only at the Divine King 3rd layer. At this time, there was still more than half a year before the 4 Starfield competition. If he used the time chamber to cultivate during this time, it would be enough for his cultivation to advance further. In the time chamber, the acceleration was 100 times, consuming 10,000 points per day. For Lin Moyu's wealth, 10,000 points was nothing at all. Entering the time chamber, he activated the formation. Time began to accelerate, and Lin Moyu keenly felt that everything had changed. The eye of the soul opened, and he saw the law lines. The law lines representing the law of time were invisible, they were too high-end. The law lines representing the law of space were also invisible. Lin Moyu had noticed when he was first able to see the law lines that the law lines of the first echelon were simply invisible. It wasn't that his soul wasn't strong enough, but that the rules were like this. There were restrictions in the great world that would not easily reveal the law lines of the first echelon. If the law lines of the first echelon were visible, how could those beings in the other shore realm not be able to comprehend them? The law lines that were revealed were all laws of the third echelon, and some laws of the second echelon. Some powerful laws seemed to be deliberately hidden. This phenomenon was very interesting, and Lin Moyu didn't know if there was a special reason or if it was just like this. The formation continued to operate, and the time acceleration became faster and faster. The law lines appeared to be distorted, not very strongly, but they were indeed distorted. When the time flow reached 100 times, the law lines were already vibrating like waves, and the laws emitted were also distorted. Lin Moyu looked at this scene and muttered to himself. Comprehending the laws has become more difficult. Because of the 100-fold time acceleration, the distorted laws make comprehension difficult. Also because of the 100-fold acceleration, although comprehension becomes difficult, it can still save a lot of time. Depending on each person's aptitude, the time saved is about 10 to 20 times. 10 to 20 times the efficiency, but at the cost of 100 times the lifespan, it's hard to say whether it's a gain or a loss. But, a hint of joy appeared in Lin Moyu's eyes, the law distortion has no effect on me. His consciousness sank into the soul world. In the soul world, purple light was misty, like a dream. 5th grade purple jade soul, the mark of the other shore realm. The entire soul world exuded a noble aura, majestic and solemn, making people daunted. 5. Under the illumination of the purple light, the arcane stars twinkled. Summoning type spells formed the 9-star spell system, within which the undying law evolved and transformed, materializing with great realism. The undying law materialized by summoning type spells was not the complete undying law, but a part representing the power of life. It endowed the undead legion with life, serving as the foundation of the undead legion. Meanwhile, skeleton type spells materialized the power of death from the undying law, bringing hell and death. When the two powers of law materialized and combined, it formed the complete undying law. In the early stages of Lin Moyu's cultivation, it provided him with immense help. Now, the skeleton type spells had already merged into one, transforming into the skeleton hell, unable to materialize the law again. However, by now, Lin Moyu no longer needed to rely on them. With a thought, Lin Moyu's soul power surged instantly, his entire body emitting a purple glow. In his soul world, a gray and white intertwined river of laws condensed. Although not a god lord, Lin Moyu directly summoned the river of laws with his other shore realm soul. The undying law surged like waves in the river, the entire river of laws being the complete undying law, eliminating the need for him to fuse, separate, and comprehend it again. The river of laws was the best template for comprehending the law. A smile appeared on his soul. Isn't this even more useful than materializing the law? Only Lin Moyu could utilize the river of laws to comprehend the law. The river of laws was exclusive to god lords, only those who reached the god lord level could freely mobilize the river of laws. However, god lords had already completely mastered their own laws. Summoning the river of laws again would become meaningless. Lin Moyu, however, forcibly summoned the river of laws with his other shore realm soul to comprehend the law. This practice could be considered unprecedented in the great world. Most importantly, time acceleration affected the law threads, greatly increasing the difficulty for others to comprehend the law. But time acceleration did not affect Lin Moyu's soul world, nor did it affect the river of laws. Therefore, it had no effect on Lin Moyu at all. 100 times the time was 100 times the time, not a bit wasted. Chapter 1491. Screw the mission, one sword breaks it. Days passed, and the number of people in the central square dwindled. They were tired of watching the battles and tired of gambling. Many people, like Lin Moyu, entered the time chamber to cultivate. As a seed candidate and a human torch, cultivation was ingrained in their bones. In the past few days, more people had arrived one after another. The seed candidates from the 4 great star domains had already arrived, with Lin Mohan being the last to come. Afterward, several people from the Hall of War Gods and several more from God City arrived. The total number of seed candidates reached 100. Among them, the seed candidates from the 4 great star domains totaled 40. The seed candidates from the Hall of War Gods and God City each numbered 30. In previous 4-star domain competitions, the Hall of War Gods and God City had never sent so many people. Usually, they sent less than 10 people, just to join in the fun. This time, for some reason, the number of people who came suddenly increased. As the last person arrived, the entire Ring Mountain continent suddenly trembled. The formations in the time chambers simultaneously stopped operating, and the projection in the central square disappeared at the same time. Mountains rose from the sea, far more numerous than the islands. The mountains resembled inverted sharp thorns, standing upright in the ocean. The mountains were covered with vegetation, and a large number of giant beasts roamed within, constantly roaring. After the time chambers were interrupted, the people who were cultivating inside came out one after another. Only after they came out did they realize that the entire world had changed. The originally bright sky had become gloomy. Immediately afterward, a large number of runes appeared in the sky, and a huge formation emerged, enveloping the entire continent. An immense pressure descended from the sky, falling on everyone. Everyone's faces revealed panic. What's going on? Why can't we fly? The formation has restricted flight. It's not just restricted flight, magical treasures are also restricted and cannot be used. No, it's that magical treasures above the God King realm can't be used. Those in the true God realm can still be used. Why is my cultivation level dropping? The formation continued to operate, the pressure became stronger and stronger, and the restrictions became more and more numerous. Lin Moyu remained calm and composed. He had seen too many such things. When he was on the battlefield, most of the missions he accepted had cultivation restrictions. Not being able to fly was even more common, he was used to it. Lin Mohan walked over. She was equally calm. Do you know what's going on? Lin Moyu looked at the sky. There should be a mission or test. Lin Mohan looked at the huge formation in the sky, her eyes revealing a hint of interest, and her expression was somewhat similar to Lin Moyu's. Anyway, no matter what the mission or test was, she would break it with one sword. After looking at it for a few seconds, she suddenly turned to Lin Moyu and said, "Little brother, congratulations on reaching the 4th level of the God King realm. Your cultivation speed is very fast, you're almost catching up with your sister." Lin Moyu smiled. "You're joking, how could I catch up with my older sister?" Lin Mohan looked at her little brother with a smile, revealing an expression that said, "You know what's good for you." About 10 days had passed outside, while Lin Moyu had spent nearly 3 years in the time chamber. Improving by 1 level in 3 years was already an amazing speed for others, but for Lin Moyu, it was a bit slow. For me, the time chamber isn't the optimal choice. The formation continued to operate, and everyone's realm was dropping, stabilizing only after dropping to the 1st level of the God King realm. Now, they had returned to the 1st level of the God King realm. Lin Moyu didn't react much to the 3-level drop. But many people couldn't stand it and were complaining one by one. Lin Moyu said lightly, "The 1st level of the God King realm, unable to fly, restricting magical treasures above the God King realm, this is leaning towards the 4-star domain competition." Lin Mohan hummed in agreement. "I thought it wouldn't be that simple, letting us come over to gather first. As expected, there are other arrangements." Lin Moyu looked indifferent. "Let's see what tricks those guys can come up with." The formation finally stabilized completely, and then a huge human face appeared in the sky. The human face was illusory and hazy, not very clear. But the majesty emanating from the human face made everyone present feel frightened. Lin Moyu's heart trembled slightly, and he whispered, "This isn't a god lord." Lin Mohan confirmed Lin Moyu's words, "It's the other shore realm." They were really giving them face, actually having another shore realm big shot show up. Although they couldn't see his true face, it was good enough. The pressure of the other shore realm was extremely powerful, pressing down like thunder in prison, startling many people and causing them to lose their composure and fall to the ground. Someone exclaimed loudly, "What level of existence is this? It's too scary. How can there be such a powerful person in the world? Is this real, or is it because of the formation? I should be seeing an illusion. Most people actually don't know about the existence of the other shore, and some people feel that their worldviews have been shattered. The big shots from the other shore looked at the crowd's performance, their eyes filled with both approval and disappointment. A thunderous voice boomed from his mouth, "Start issuing tasks, everyone listen carefully. Task 1. Leave Tinder Island, exit the Ring Mountain continent, choose any direction, you must act alone, and no multiple people can act together. Task 2. During the process, kill the giant beasts within the island, the more you kill, the higher the score. Seeking flowers. Task 3. Find the tokens hidden along the way, which can earn points. Note that tokens may appear anywhere, in corners, or even inside giant beasts. Attention! If you encounter others, you need to separate within 1 minute, no talking, and no revealing any information. The entire process will be monitored by the Human Emperor Network, so don't take chances. Even soul sound transmission is useless. Specific scoring details can be viewed in the Human Emperor Network, and you can also check the ranking situation in the Human Emperor Network. This task will affect the internal level of the God City. Those who fail the task will be deprived of the qualification to participate in the 4-star region competition, the God City level will be downgraded, and those without a level will be expelled from the God City. The task will start in half an hour. The voice was like thunder, turning into words that were firmly engraved in everyone's soul. After speaking, the human face in the sky disappeared, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. 0. Then they began to take the task seriously. Everyone had to rely on their own ability to leave the Ring Mountain continent. Here, they cannot fly, they can only trek through mountains and rivers. There are giant beasts along the way, it will not be smooth sailing, they need to fight. Their realm is suppressed, powerful magical treasures cannot be used, and they must also find tokens. Although they don't know how strong the giant beasts are, they shouldn't be simple. Lin Moyu was calm and composed, his heart was without waves, he had overcome even more difficult environments, what did these count for? He looked at his elder sister, "It seems I can't rely on you this time." Lin Mohan snorted, "What, you still want your sister to take you out?" Lin Moyu shook his head, "I originally thought that I could take my sister out." Lin Mohan scoffed, "Get real, I know what you're thinking. Work hard and get first place." Lin Moyu shook his head, "That would steal your thunder." "Steal my thunder my ass, if you don't get first place, I'll beat you into a pig's head." Lin Mohan waved her fist, which was not a small fist, but a fist that could really beat someone into a pig's head. Lin Moyu laughed, "Don't worry, I won't give you the chance." At this time, the task had not yet started, and many people had begun to prepare. Someone shouted loudly, "Who has extra medicine, wound medicine, medicine to restore strength, I'll buy it with money." Among the seed players, some are good at refining medicine, it's better to be prepared. Brothers from the Xuanwu Star region, do you have any puppets for sale, the kind that can scout? Who has extra True God Realm magical treasures, sell me one, the price is negotiable. Lin Moyu didn't need to prepare anything, he connected to the Human Emperor Network and began to check the specific information of the task. Chapter 1492. Each displays secret techniques, Golden Light Avenue. The requirement of the task is to leave the Ring Mountain continent. It seems that there is only one task, but there are actually 2 requirements. It is not enough to just leave the Ring Mountain continent, you must also obtain enough points. If the points are not enough, the ranking will definitely be low, you will not get a reward, at most you will be exempt from punishment. If you want to get first place, you must find a way to get a lot of points. The ways to get points are nothing more than killing giant beasts and obtaining tokens. Killing giant beasts of different levels gives different amounts of points. Ordinary giant beast, 1 point. Elite giant beast, 10 points. Chieftain level giant beast, 1000 points. Leader level giant beast, 100,000 points. Giant beasts are divided into 4 levels, the weakest is 1 point, and the strongest is 100,000 points, a full 100,000 times difference. Lin Moyu looked strange, and then continued to check the points of the tokens. Tokens are also divided into 4 types, silver token, gold token, white jade token, purple jade token. The points are the same as the division of giant beasts, from 1 point for the silver, 577, token to 100,000 points for the purple jade token, also a 100,000 times difference. In Lin Moyu's view, the two ways to obtain points correspond to combat power and carefulness respectively. Some cultivators have strong combat power, but are not careful enough. Some cultivators have relatively weak combat power, but are careful enough and can always find some details. Regardless of which one, it can be reflected in the task. The best is to have both, and the score will often be the highest. Moreover, the difference in points represented by giant beasts is so huge, a full 100,000 times, which is actually to widen the gap between top geniuses and ordinary geniuses. Top geniuses may not even kill giant beasts along the way, and finally be able to kill the leader giant beast, they can get a lot of points. And ordinary geniuses, who kill themselves to death along the way, may not be as good as the last battle of the top geniuses. Lin Mohan was also checking the task information. Xiao Yu, don't you think that this classification method is not quite the same as that of the Great World, but rather similar to a copy? Lin Moyu nodded. It is indeed very similar. In fact, when I was in the battlefield, I found this doubt several times. Lin Mohan's slender eyes curved like willow leaves. Xiao Yu, what are your thoughts? Lin Moyu shook his head. From the information we have so far, we can only say that our small world is a bit special. But more reasons cannot be analyzed. Lin Mohan hummed. Master also said that our small world is not quite the same. I'll leave this to Xiao Yu, I'm too lazy to use my brain. Lin Moyu nodded. Okay, I will investigate clearly. If there is any problem, sister will come and break it with a sword. Lin Mohan glared at him. You've gotten bolder, dare to make fun of me. Lin Moyu smiled and didn't respond. The two came to the central square. At this time almost all the seed players had gathered in the central square, waiting for the task to officially start. The cultivators of the 4-star regions basically gathered together. The cultivators of God City also gathered together, and were closer to the cultivators of the 4-star regions. The War God Temple maintained its unique arrogance, away from the crowd. At the other end, there were also 3 people standing side by side. One of them was Dongfang Zi, who wanted to spar with Lin Moyu that day. When Lin Moyu looked over, Dongfang Zi also happened to look over, and the eyes of the two met in midair. He smiled and gestured to Lin Moyu, and Lin Moyu also nodded slightly. Dongfang Zi had regained his composure at this time, no longer as arrogant as he was that day. He acted as if nothing had happened that day. However, Dongfang Zi's pride in his bones still existed. He was a top genius of God City, and even in God City, his status was not bad. It could be seen from the position he was standing that he did not stand with the other cultivators of God City. Those who could stand side by side with Dongfang Zi were also the 2 little god sovereigns of God City. Lin Moyu whispered, in God City, the levels are also very strict. Lin Mohan chuckled, it's the same everywhere. Xiao Yu, haven't you figured it out after so long? Lin Moyu chose not to respond. His sister just liked to joke with him. The central square gradually became quiet, and everyone was ready. Everyone gradually adapted to the realm after being suppressed by the formation. After all, the cultivation base would also be suppressed in the 4-star region competition, and they also understood. As the task approached, the atmosphere inevitably became tense. Half an hour later, the formation suddenly burst out a ball of golden light, which exploded in the air like fireworks, rendering the entire island golden. As if a certain passage was opened, heart-pounding roars of beasts came from all directions. One golden avenue after another formed in the air, thousands of golden avenues appeared in the air. Everyone knew that everyone had to choose a golden avenue to leave the island. Mount Huan continent is a standard circle, and Fire Seed Island is located at the very center of the continent. No matter which direction you leave from, the distance required to exit Mount Huan continent is the same. But the same distance does not mean the same level of danger. There are varying numbers of giant beasts along the way, some strong and some weak, and the number of tokens will also not be uniform. Choosing the golden path is actually a competition of luck. Some people took out a set of copper coin-like magical artifacts to start divining, while others secretly used spells, calculating with their fingers. Chu Shang looked at Zhuang Bai. Old Zhuang, it's up to you. Zhuang Bai smiled slightly. He took out a jade eyeball and patted it on Chu Shang's forehead. A third eye suddenly appeared on Chu Shang's forehead. Chu Shang closed his eyes tightly, using this newly grown third eye to look at the sky. Soon, he locked onto a golden path. He reached out and removed the third eye from his forehead, returning it to Zhuang Bai, and said in a low voice, I'm going. Zhuangbai nodded, be careful in everything. Don't worry. Chu Shang's burly body suddenly leapt up, directly onto the selected golden path. The moment he entered the golden path, his entire body transformed into a stream of light and disappeared. Zhuangbai pressed the jade eyeball onto his own forehead, quickly locked onto a golden path, and then leapt into the path, disappearing. Xu Jiangxing took out a bow and arrow and shot an arrow into the sky. The sharp arrow spun in the air, then automatically adjusted its direction, flying towards one of the golden paths. Xu Jiangxing did not hesitate, directly leaping up, following the sharp arrow into the golden path. Everyone displayed their own abilities, using different methods to find a golden path suitable for themselves. But more people just randomly chose one. These people either had confidence in their own strength, or they didn't know which one to choose, so they simply picked one at random. The people on the central square left one after another, becoming fewer and fewer. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry. The mission did not require a specific time. There was no difference between leaving earlier or later. Lin Moyu said, "Sister, are you planning to just choose one at random?" Lin Mohan said, "Do you think your sister is so brain dead?" Lin Moyu was speechless for a moment. Lin Mohan was obviously saying this on purpose, secretly scolding him. Because he himself was planning to just choose one at random. Lin Mohan closed her beautiful eyes slightly, raised her head to look at the sky, revealing her slender, fair neck, like a proud and beautiful white swan. A small sword appeared between her eyebrows. The small sword flew out from between her eyebrows and circled in the air several times before quickly locking onto a passage. Lin Mohan made her choice and instructed, "Xiao Yu, you must be careful." Lin Moyu nodded, "Sister must also be careful." Lin Mohan stomped her jade foot on the ground, and her whole person soared into the air like a fairy, landing on the chosen golden path with extremely graceful posture. Watching Lin Mohan leave, Lin Moyu said faintly, "It seems I can't just choose one at random, otherwise I'll really become brain dead." Lin Moyu originally wanted to just choose one at random. To him, it didn't really matter which one he chose. But after Lin Mohan said that, if he chose one at random again, he would really become brain dead. He naturally had his own methods, and they were more direct and effective than others. He pointed his finger towards the sky. Stellar level spell, Undead Gaze. Undead flames burned fiercely, and a 10,000-meter-sized eye of the undead appeared in the sky. Chapter 1493. Since we want first place, let's do something big. Lin Moyu controlled the power of the spell, otherwise he could summon an eye of the undead that was 10 million meters in size. Now was not the time to fight enemies, there was no need to do that. An eye of the undead that was 10,000 meters in size was already big enough. Lin Moyu used the eye of the undead to connect to the undead vision, scanning his surroundings. Looking into the distance from the sky, he saw countless soul flames. The number of soul flames in some directions was smaller, while in other directions there were more. A ball of soul flame represented a giant beast, the more soul flames, the more giant beasts. After the eye of the undead circled in the air, Lin Moyu chose the direction with the most giant beasts and stepped into one of the golden paths. The golden path only gave a general direction. The direction would inevitably change on the road ahead. Among the hundreds of people who chose the direction, there must be some whose directions were similar. Later, due to various reasons, the directions would deviate, and it was normal for them to meet each other. Otherwise, the rules would not include a clause that if someone met, they were not allowed to communicate and must separate within 1 minute. In fact, it was to make everyone rely on themselves and not allow any external help. The golden path took Lin Moyu away from Fire Seed Island and landed him on a small island about 100 kilometers away from Fire Seed Island. Saying it was a small island, it was actually just a reef, only about 5 meters in diameter. Lin Moyu looked around. Hundreds of meters away, towering mountains stood. The mountains were covered with dense forests, and roars of beasts were constantly heard. Continuing to look into the distance, there were countless high mountains, and some small islands could be vaguely seen. High mountains were both obstacles and landmarks. As long as you advanced along the high mountains, you would not get lost. There were 2 choices in front of Lin Moyu. One was to advance along the high mountains. The second was to not enter the high mountains and directly advance from the ocean. This would avoid the giant beasts in the high mountains, and there was no need to climb over mountains, so the speed would be the fastest. The disadvantage was that the number of giant beasts killed would be greatly reduced, and the points obtained would also be reduced. Lin Moyu believed that as long as there was a cultivator with a little pursuit, they would not choose this path. And was this path really safe? There were also many giant beasts in the ocean. In the case of not being able to fly, it was not necessarily safe. Lin Moyu leapt gently, crossed the distance of hundreds of meters, left the reef, and entered the first high mountain. His body suddenly sank, and pressure came from nowhere again. He knew that he had officially stepped into the mission area. The suppression here was stronger. In addition to not being able to fly, even if you wanted to jump too high, you couldn't. Otherwise, with the strength of a cultivator, it would be completely possible to jump over this 1,000-meter high mountain. Now, not only could he not jump too high, but he also couldn't be too fast. It really doesn't give any loopholes. Lin Moyu thought in his heart. He did not doubt the strictness of the Human Emperor Network at all. The Human Emperor Network's prompt sounded in his ear. Open black lens bracket. The mission points leaderboard has been opened, please check it yourself. Close black lens bracket. Lin Moyu connected to the Human Emperor Network and opened the mission points leaderboard. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Someone has already started. Someone had already obtained points on the mission points leaderboard. Currently, the first place was Chu Shang, who had obtained 2 points. This showed that he had killed 2 ordinary giant beasts. Chu Shang was a minor god venerable. Even if he was suppressed to the God King realm, his combat power was still strong. Fighting beyond his level was not a problem at all. Ordinary giant beasts were nothing to him. The person ranked second was named Qing Fei, a minor god venerable from the Azure Dragon Star region, who had obtained 1 point. She dressed relatively neutrally, didn't talk much, was taciturn, but had extraordinary strength. The third place was Dongfang Zi, who also obtained 1 point. Apart from the 3 of them, no one else had obtained any points yet. The mission had just begun, and the current score was irrelevant. Just as he was checking the mission points leaderboard, suddenly a person's name directly surpassed Chu Shang, obtaining 5 points and coming to the first place. It was Shui Zilan from the Black Tortoise Star region, also a minor god venerable. In Lin Moyu's impression, Shui Zilan could only be considered to have ordinary strength among the many minor god venerables. Moreover, the Black Tortoise Star region was not good at attacking. Suddenly obtaining 5 points at the same time showed that she had killed 5 ordinary giant beasts at the same time. After a moment's thought, he roughly understood what was happening. The attack power of cultivators in the Xuanwu Star region was indeed the weakest among the 4 star regions, but that didn't mean their attacks were truly weak. To compensate for the lack of attack power in their laws, the Xuanwu Star region would come up with many methods. Such as magical treasures, such as puppets. Lin Moy thought that Shui Zilan must have used puppets. Puppets were also classified as a type of magical treasure. Naturally, puppets at the God King realm could not be used, but puppets at the peak of the true God realm were not within the restricted range. As long as there were enough puppets at the peak of the true God realm, they could indeed kill 5 giant beasts simultaneously. It seems that this rule has many advantages for cultivators who are good at manipulating puppets. Then I'll start too. He looked up at the towering 1,000-meter high mountain, and with a thought, skeletal god warriors appeared around him. Both realm and spells were suppressed. Originally, with his God King 4th Order realm, the skeletal god warriors he summoned would have combat power reaching the God King 6th Order. Now, the combat power of the skeletal god warriors had fallen back to the God King 3rd Order, the same as when he had just broken through to the God King realm. God King 3rd Order is enough. The skeletal god warriors rushed into the mountains like wolves and tigers. Under the undead vision, those giant beasts hiding in the mountains had nowhere to hide, and were all found and quickly killed. Not only the giant beasts in the mountains, but Lin Moy did not even let go of the giant beasts under the ocean. A large number of skeletal god warriors sank into the ocean and began to kill the aquatic giant beasts. Since he wanted to take first place, then he would take a big one, leaving others with nothing to say. The skeletal god warriors quickly came into contact with the giant beasts in the mountains, and the giant beasts were instantly killed. Open black lens bracket killed ordinary giant beast, obtained 1 point, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket killed ordinary giant beast, obtained 1 point, close black lens bracket. The Human Emperor Network's prompts kept ringing, and the points began to rise rapidly from 170. In the blink of an eye, Lin Moy's points had already surpassed the first place, and began to lead far ahead. Lin Moy then stepped into the mountains easily and freely, walking step by step towards the top of the mountain, preparing to cross the mountains. Someone happened to be looking at the mission point list, and suddenly found that Lin Moi's points began to rise like crazy, and everyone showed an unbelievable expression. How is it possible? How can his points increase so fast? Is there something wrong with the human emperor network? This is impossible. Damn it, I spent so much effort to get 1 point, what did this guy do? Everyone is at the God King First Order, how can the gap be so big? In another mountain forest, Dongfangzi had just finished a great battle, and in front of him lay the corpse of a giant beast. This giant beast was obviously a circle larger than other giant beasts, and its aura was stronger, reaching the God King Second Order. This was an elite-level giant beast, worth 10 points. Dongfangzi clapped his hands, and the arrogance in his eyes flashed. Elite-level giant beast, but that's all. He took the opportunity to open the mission point list to check his points. In his opinion, he got 10 points at once, so the ranking should not be bad. Indeed, Dongfangzi saw his ranking, second place, a very good ranking. Then he saw Lin Moi, who was ranked first. Lin Moi, this guy's ranking is actually above me. His eyes moved to the right, and then he suddenly widened, exclaiming, impossible. Chapter 1494. Saying it, doing it, breaking it with a sword. Dongfangzi looked at Lin Moi's score, a little lost. Impossible, how is this possible? His reaction was greater than anyone else's, because his arrogance did not allow himself to be worse than others. 1. Lin Moi, 128 points. 2. Dongfangzi, 16 points. 3. Shui Zilan, 12 points. The cultivators had already started to take action, killing giant beasts to obtain points. The points were changing every moment, and everyone was holding on to their points tightly. Suddenly, a huge sword intent rose into the air. Dongfangzi suddenly turned his head to look into the distance, and saw a colorful giant sword floating in the sky. The giant sword was like a rainbow, colorful and dazzling, and orchids floated on the sword body, being firm yet gentle, extremely beautiful. Dongfangzi felt as if he had been cut by the sword energy, and his skin was stinging. Chop! A delicate shout resounded through the sky. The giant sword fell, the sword intent exploded, sweeping across tens of thousands of miles. Almost all the cultivators felt the majestic sword intent, and their expressions changed drastically. It's Fairy Han, so strong. The number 1 genius of the Baihu Star region, inheriting the 9 heavens orchid sword of Sword Orchid God, Fairy Han is too strong. Such a fierce attack has surpassed the people of the Qinglong Star region. Let's see if the people of the Qinglong Star region dare to say that their attack is number 1 in the future. Some were horrified, some were excited. Dongfangzi saw new changes in the mission point list. Lin Mohan's name rose in a straight line, leaping over himself to reach the second place in the mission point list. Lin Mohan, 60 points. Dongfangzi was shocked, just 1 sword, getting 60 points, how was this possible? Could it be that she killed all the giant beasts in the entire mountain forest with 1 sword? Dongfangzi muttered to himself. The location of Lin Mohan was not far from him. He could even see the high mountain where Lin Mohan was. After a sword, something even more shocking happened to him. The high mountain where Lin Mohan was located collapsed in a roar. Lin Mohan not only killed a large number of giant beasts with 1 sword, but also shattered the high mountain blocking her. Just as she said, no matter what is blocking her, she will break it with a sword. She did what she said, not only killing beasts, but also destroying mountains. Dongfangzi stared blankly at the collapsing high mountain, and then saw a heroic figure walking to the top of the mountain after the collapse and disappearing on the other side of the mountain. It was useless not to believe it, the fact was the fact. Dongfangzi was severely hit, and his original arrogance was gone. He found that if this sword was aimed at him, he would not be able to block it at all. Even if he mobilized a part of the power of the Lost Star River, he could only guarantee that he would not die, and serious injuries were inevitable. Just in the moment when he was stunned, Lin Moi's points increased again. It should be said that Lin Moi's points were increasing every moment, and had never stopped. At this time, Lin Moi's points had reached 160 points, opening up a full 100 points from Lin Mohan in second place. Such a terrifying point increase speed made many people completely give up the idea of competing for first place. Lin Moi stood on the 1,000-meter high mountain, looking into the distance, saw the 9 heavens orchid sword in the distance, and also saw the high mountain that was cut down. The corner of his mouth raised slightly, revealing a smile. My sister is worthy of being my sister, doing what she says. No matter what obstacles there are, break them with a sword. Lin Mohan verified her words, doing what she said. Lin Mo looked for a moment, then turned to his own battlefield. Killed an elite-level behemoth, gained 10 points. An elite-level behemoth, filled with unwillingness, fell under the siege of the skeleton god warriors. Its body was covered in wounds, a miserable sight. Elite-level behemoths are equivalent to rank 2 divine kings, but their vitality is much stronger than ordinary behemoths. Originally, a single skeleton god warrior could have dealt with it, but Lin Mo didn't want to waste time, so he had a dozen skeleton god warriors attack together, ending the battle in just a few seconds. After it fell, a golden token dropped out, landing on the ground. Lin Mo reached out and summoned the golden token into his hand. The token emitted a golden light, and within 2 seconds of Lin Mo receiving it, the token turned into a yellow light and disappeared. Lin Mo's score also increased by 10 points. Tokens can be found in corners, and also obtained from behemoths. Ordinary behemoths drop silver tokens, elite-level behemoths drop golden tokens. Then the foreman-level behemoths and leader-level behemoths drop white jade tokens and purple jade tokens. It's not that it has nothing to do with the instance dungeon, it's exactly the same. Lin Mo increasingly felt that his small world was not simple, it was extraordinary. The great world's secret realms, battlefields, and various mysterious areas all seemed to have shadows of the small world within them. At first, he thought that the small world had inherited some rules from the great world. After all, the gap between the small world and the great world was enormous. But later, he gradually realized that this was not the case. It wasn't that the small world was like the great world, but rather that the great world was like the small world. This made him certain of the special nature of the small world. As the world master, although he was far away, he had an obligation to figure this out. However, to figure this out, one must first have the corresponding strength. According to Lin Mo's analysis, the divine Venerable realm might not be enough. There were divine Venerable realm experts outside the small world. Would they dare to enter? Antares must be in the other shore realm, but he also seemed to be trapped inside, unable to escape for the time being. To find out the secrets of the small world, one must at least reach the other shore realm. Lin Mo put away his thoughts, crossed the first mountain, and walked towards another mountain. Outside the Ring Mountain continent, a magnificent palace suddenly appeared in the starry sky. The palace was ancient and majestic, exuding an aura of vastness. This palace was a magical treasure, and an other shore realm magical treasure. On a small square in front of the palace, 3 people sat cross-legged around an exquisite tea table. Madame Yu lightly lifted her sleeves, revealing her white and fair wrists, gracefully brewing tea. The fragrance of the tea floated in the starry sky, turning into strands of laws, spreading out. Without any transmission medium, the tea fragrance could directly enter the soul. Just smelling it could cleanse one's soul. Holy Venerable Hao, Elder Lin, try Meng Yao's newly acquired Dao tea. Madame Yu's voice was very pleasant to hear, and just listening to her speak was a great enjoyment. The Elder Lin she spoke of was the old man who projected himself during the mission on the Ring Mountain continent. Elder Lin smiled and took the teacup that Madame Yu handed over. The Dao tea obtained by Meng Yao will naturally not be bad. Madame Yu said with a smile, then please Elder Lin guess where this Dao tea comes from. Holy Venerable Hao let out a hearty laugh. Elder Lin, you've fallen into the trap this time. Meng Yao is just waiting for you to say that. Elder Lin smelled the tea and said casually, how does Holy Venerable Hao know that this old fellow jumped in himself? Holy Venerable Hao laughed loudly. Elder Lin is still so concerned about face. Then you Zhao Li's should tell us, where exactly is this Dao tea from? Elder Lin first smelled it, then took a sip, and after a dozen seconds, he slowly opened his mouth. As far as I know, there are 18 Dao tea trees in total, distributed throughout the great world. Among them, 12 Dao tea trees have obvious characteristics, and they can't be hidden from this old man at all. This tea must be one of the remaining 6. Of the 6 Dao tea trees, this old man has collected 5 of them. Only the Emerald Jade Soul tea from the lost ancient land has this old man never tasted. Having said this, Elder Lin looked at Madame Yu with a smile. Madame Yu smiled gently. I knew I couldn't hide it from Elder Lin. When it comes to tea tasting, who in the great world can compete with Elder Lin? Elder Lin shook his head. No, there is a fellow whose understanding of tea is above this old man. Madam, you didn't think so. Not counting the spirit of Tao Ti, we are only talking about the human race. Elder Lin was not polite at all. Then this old man is indeed the number one in the human race. Holy Venerable Hao sipped his tea, his eyes falling on the Ring Mountain continent. Everything that happened in the Ring Mountain continent could not be hidden from his perception. This year's little fellows seem to be pretty good. Chapter 1495, Changing Strategies, Searching for Leader Monsters. Hearing Holy Venerable Hao's words, Elder Lin and Madam Yu also turned their eyes to the Ring Mountain continent. They happened to see Lin Mohan cutting a mountain in half with a sword, killing most of the behemoths in the mountain, scaring the other behemoths to tremble and dare not move. A look of approval appeared in Elder Lin's eyes. This girl is not bad. Madam Yu said with a smile, she is the personal disciple of Divine Venerable Zhonglin, and has fully inherited the true teachings of Divine Venerable Zhonglin. Elder Lin obviously also knew Divine Venerable Zhonglin, so it's Zhonglin's personal disciple, she should be close to success, right? Madam Yu nodded, she's close to success. It will be 1.5 years at the earliest, and 5 years at the latest, before she can officially step into the other shore. Elder Lin smiled, not bad, then my human race will have another other shore realm expert. Madam Yu said, not just one. Holy Venerable Hao's eldest disciple is already a half-step other shore realm expert, and his breakthrough is just a few years away. A gleam flashed in Elder Lin's eyes. Holy Venerable Hao, congratulations. Holy Venerable Hao was not pretentious at all. Chiwu achieving the other shore, the human race having another expert, is indeed worth congratulating. Madam Yu looked at the Ring Mountain continent, smiling, Holy Venerable Hao, who do you think will win this 4-starfield competition? Holy Venerable Hao said faintly, just look at the points ranking. Points ranking. Lin Mo was far ahead with 186 points. Lin Mohan, in second place, only had 60 points. As for Dongfang Zi, in third place, he only had 18 points. The difference was too great. Elder Lin's pupils shrank slightly. How did this little 513 fellow do it? He quickly locked onto Lin Mo in the Ring Mountain continent, and found that Lin Mo was strolling leisurely, with a large number of skeleton god warriors sweeping through the mountains or slaughtering wantonly under the ocean. Lin Mo didn't need to do anything, and his points were soaring. Elder Lin spoke after watching for a few seconds, is this his spell? Holy Venerable Hao nodded, yes, they are summoned by him. Elder Lin sighed. Summons of rank 3 divine kings, and so many of them, are stronger than the summoning techniques in the Xuanwu starfield. If his summons can be upgraded synchronously with his realm, that would be amazing. Holy Venerable Hao smiled and said, this is just the weakest of his many summons. Elder Lin glared, the weakest? How strong can the strongest be? Madam Yu was also very curious at this time, looking at Holy Venerable Hao. She was also extremely curious about Lin Mo. It was just because Holy Venerable Hao was standing behind Lin Mo, so it was inconvenient for her to come forward to inquire, or even to investigate secretly. Holy Venerable Hao sipped his tea, speaking unhurriedly, his strongest summon should be able to reach the Lesser Divine Venerable. Lesser Divine Venerable, isn't that a bit exaggerated? Elder Lin seemed not to believe it. Not only did he not believe it, but Madam Yu also did not quite believe it, saying softly, his soul BFDI is already at the other shore realm. As long as he doesn't die, he will definitely step into the other shore in the future, but his current cultivation is limited, wouldn't his combat power be a bit too exaggerated? The teacup in Elder Lin's hand shook violently. Meng Yao said his soul is already at the other shore realm. Madam Yu nodded, affirming her words. Elder Lin was somewhat unable to believe it. Divine King Realm, other shore realm soul, how can there be such an unreasonable thing? Holy Venerable Hao said with a smile, existence is reasonable. Some time ago, I cooperated with this child to clear out a group of spies from various races. To cooperate with that operation, the demons, golden eagles, and 3 silvers dispatched a joint force to encircle and kill him. This kid not only slaughtered the joint force but also killed 3 god sovereigns. Elder Lin and Madam Yu were both silent. After a long while, Madam Yu sighed, I always thought this child's soul was extremely strong, but I didn't expect his combat power to be so strong as well. Elder Lin also sighed, a god king defying and killing a god sovereign is comparable to the war god. Saint Sovereign Hao spoke shockingly, I think this child has hope to surpass the other shore. The 4 words, surpass the other shore, were like thunder, exploding in the souls of Elder Lin and Madam Yu. Only those like them who had already set foot on the other shore knew the meaning of surpassing it. Neither of them could have imagined that Saint Sovereign Hao would be so optimistic about Lin Mo Yu. Madame Yu had always thought that Saint Sovereign Hao only regarded Lin Mo Yu as an outstanding junior. She never expected him to have such expectations for him. Lin Mo Yu regarded Mount Ring Continent as his own back garden. All kinds of restrictions and realm suppressions were meaningless to him. Although he was young, the gap between him and the god kings and god sovereigns who were hundreds or even thousands of years old was too great. But the dangers he had experienced far exceeded those of these god kings and god sovereigns. In Lin Mo Yu's view, these god kings and god sovereigns lived too comfortably, and the human race protected them too well. A place like Mount Ring Continent was a test in the eyes of others, but to him, it was simply a paradise. The skeleton god warrior charged straight ahead, unstoppable. His score soared, far ahead of everyone else. In just a few days, Lin Mo Yu's score had reached more than 3,000 points. This was a despairing score. Lin Mo Han, who was in second place, had less than 800 points at the moment. Lin Mo Han's powerful attack of the Sword of Nine Heavens could not be used without limit. After using it 3 times, she also needed to rest and recover. Her efficiency gradually decreased. The third place was once again occupied by Shui Ji Lan from the Xuanwu Starfield, with a score of 550. With the realm suppressed, a large number of puppets brought her a lot of advantages. Dongfang Zi was behind her, his score also exceeding 500, but the difference was not big. Dongfang Zi gritted his teeth, he had not given up yet. Perhaps Lin Mo Yu has a large number of puppets. Perhaps his techniques are just suitable for group battles. I still have a chance. As long as I find a leader-level giant beast, a leader-level giant beast can get 100,000 points. If I can get a piece of purple jade token, that's another 100,000 points. As long as I find one, it will be worth him killing 100,000 or even 200,000 ordinary giant beasts. As long as I find one, I can surpass him. If I can find 2. Thinking like this, Dongfang Zi's momentum rose again. He began to speed up, no longer entangled with ordinary giant beasts, and looked for leader-level giant beasts. His speed of killing giant beasts was far inferior to Lin Mo Yu's. If he wanted to take first place, he could only find another way. Many people had the same idea as him, and several lagging lesser god sovereigns woke up one after another. They realized that it was impossible to catch up with Lin Mo Yu using normal methods, not even Lin Mo Han could catch up. They could only adopt unconventional means. After Lin Mo Han finished adjusting her breath, she naturally opened the mission score list and saw Lin Mo Yu, who was far ahead. A bright smile appeared on her beautiful face, my Xiao Yu is really amazing. In the palace in the starry sky, Elder Lin and Madame Yu were no longer paying attention to Lin Mo Yu. Lin Mo Yu's performance was really too boring. He didn't even do it himself. Relying on these skeletons, he was already out of reach. Elder Lin said, it's more interesting to watch this girl named Lin Mo Han. Her understanding of the Sword of Nine Heavens has reached an extremely deep level. Madame Yu agreed with Elder Lin's words, the Sword of Nine Heavens is a powerful inheritance from ancient times, but it is too difficult to cultivate and requires special talent. I don't know where Sword Orchid God Sovereign found this girl, but she can actually meet the requirements of the Sword of Nine Heavens. Elder Lin said, although Lin Mo Yu seems to be leading, if they meet in the 4 Starfield competition, this old man thinks that Lin Mo Yu should not be this girl's opponent. Saint Sovereign Hao shook his head and smiled, if Lin Mo Han meets Lin Mo Yu, she should take the initiative to admit defeat. The two of them looked at Saint Sovereign Hao in unison, expressing their incomprehension. Saint Sovereign Hao did not play coy, Lin Mo Han is Lin Mo Yu's biological older sister. Chapter 1496 Lin Mo Yu's little world is terrible. Saint Sovereign Hao was enjoying the surprised look on the two of them, sipping tea with a smile, feeling that the tea was especially sweet. In addition to being surprised, Madame Yu gave Saint Sovereign Hao a charming look, really, after so many years, your taste hasn't changed at all. You just like to see people surprised. Saint Sovereign Hao laughed, don't you think it's interesting? Elder Lin was currently in the Human Emperor Network, checking the information of the two. As a powerhouse in the other shore realm and a top existence of the human race, his authority was very high. He muttered to himself, both of them are from a small world. Sword Orchid God Sovereign opened the space channel of the small world and took Lin Mo Han away from it. Lin Mo Yu reached the transcendent God realm on his own and came to the great world. At that time, Night Wind God Sovereign picked him up. Outside this small world, there are God Sovereigns of various races guarding it. Elder Lin saw the abnormality in the information of the Human Emperor Network and murmured, "There is a problem with this small world, a big problem." His words aroused Madame Yu's interest, and she immediately checked all the information related to the two. Madame Yu also felt something was wrong, looked at Saint Sovereign Hao. "Saint Sovereign, you must know about it too." She believed that Saint Sovereign Hao must have discovered something was wrong long ago. Saint Sovereign Hao nodded. "Naturally, I know. That world is indeed very wrong." Elder Lin said, "A small world that can nurture geniuses like Lin Mo Yu and Lin Mo Han must have a big secret in this small world. If we can figure out this secret, maybe our human race." Madame Yu was obviously very moved. "Saint Sovereign, since you know, you should have gone to investigate it, right?" Saint Sovereign Hao shook his head. "I thought about it, but I didn't dare to." Didn't dare. The two of them felt a thud in their hearts. What did he mean by didn't dare? In this world, is there anything that Saint Sovereign Hao doesn't dare to do? Among the human race, Saint Sovereign Hao is a top-notch powerhouse, and there are only a handful of people who can surpass him. In the great world, Saint Sovereign Hao is equally strong. He dared to rush into the holy land of the Buddha race alone, forcing the Buddha race to bow their heads and admit their mistakes. Madame Yu couldn't figure out what Saint Sovereign Hao didn't dare to do. Saint Sovereign Hao sighed. "I have been to that small world, but I didn't dare to really go in. If I really went in, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to come back." Elder Lin didn't believe it. "A mere small world can be destroyed with a snap of a finger, can it trap you?" Saint Sovereign Hao shook his head. "Elder Lin, when have you ever seen me talk nonsense?" Madame Yu suddenly thought of something and exclaimed, "Could it be that there are?" She couldn't think of any other possibilities. She didn't dare to say it, and quickly changed her words. "Impossible, haven't they already left?" At this time, Elder Lin's expression also became serious. Obviously he also thought of what Madame Yu said. Saint Sovereign Hao said in a low voice, "Thousands of years ago, someone came out of that small world, and it wasn't just one person, it was an entire race, a full million people." 1. Old Lin frowned. "It seems unlikely to move the entire clan into the great world. Why haven't I heard of this?" Saint Venerable Hao said, "At the time, my third disciple, Zhu Tian, felt that something was amiss, so he received them and arranged a life-star system for them, forbidding anyone from approaching. Later, I went there and found that many of these people had extremely outstanding aptitudes, with nearly half of them belonging to the genius category. The top few almost made me consider taking them as disciples." Old Lin was surprised again. He knew how high Saint Venerable Hao's standards were. Wanting him to accept a disciple was harder than ascending to heaven. Madame Yu whispered, "If they all leave like this, wouldn't that small world be finished?" The fate of a small world is closely related to the creatures inside. If all the creatures inside leave, the small world will basically perish. Saint Venerable Hao nodded. "That's what I thought at the time. Then I went to see the small world. It did look severely damaged, but I felt that the internal vitality had become even more vigorous. That feeling was like clearing away a batch of tumors, breaking down and then rebuilding. At the time, I wanted to go in and see what was going on, but I received a warning before I even got close. Afterwards, I returned and found that those who came out of the small world had disappeared. Without any trace, they completely vanished. I couldn't trace them even with karma treasures, as if they had never appeared. When I left, I set up a star-locking grand formation, which was intact, but the people were gone." Old Lin and Madame Yu were listening to a bizarre story. The powerful Saint Venerable Hao was actually scared off by a warning. The people he had trapped with the star-locking grand formation were taken away silently, and all karma was erased. Of course, they knew how terrifying this method was. Erasing karma was already beyond their capabilities. Madame Yu asked, "So, even you don't know the specific situation in that small world?" Saint Venerable Hao helplessly took a sip of tea, confirming it. Old Lin frowned. "Then how did Sword Orchid God Venerable receive people from it?" Saint Venerable Hao responded, "Later, I went to ask Sword Orchid God Venerable. She said that she received a warning at the time. A Dragon Clan senior in the small world warned her to take good care of Lin Mohan." Seeking flowers. Why is it related to the Dragon Clan again? Old Lin felt that it was getting further and further away. Saint Venerable Hao continued, "Later, I also went to the Dragon Clan and learned a secret matter. Some not-so-good things happened to the dragon clan 10,000 years ago. A divine dragon of the other shore realm with the dragon god bloodline was taken away. If I'm not mistaken, the divine dragon in that small world is the one who was taken away from the dragon clan. Taking away a divine dragon of the other shore realm, who could take away a divine dragon of the other shore realm from the dragon clan, and one with the dragon god bloodline at that? Old Lin and Madam, you already realize that no one could do this except for existences of that level. Saint Venerable How finished the story and began his concluding remarks. In any case, the secrets of that small world are no longer something that we can touch. I don't even want to inquire about the specific situation in the small world. Sometimes, knowing too much is dangerous. Sword Orchid God Venerable also thinks so she never asks Lin Mohan about the situation in the small world. I suspect it should also be related to the ancient times. Madam Yu sighed, yes, some things are better left unknown. Old Lin shifted his attention from Saint Venerable How to Lin Moyu and Lin Mohan in the Ring Mountain continent. You hope that these two little guys can give you the answer, right? Saint Venerable How was tired from speaking and took a big gulp of tea. Indeed, I have this idea. Then let's wait and see. In the Ring Mountain continent, time passed day by day. Everyone had been walking for a long time, passing through mountain after mountain. The Ring Mountain continent has a diameter of 1 million kilometers and a radius of 500,000 kilometers. Excluding the distance of Fire Seed Island, even if everyone advanced in a straight line, they would have to walk more than 400,000 kilometers. If there were no restrictions, 400,000 kilometers would naturally be nothing, arriving in the blink of an eye. But now, everyone was climbing mountains and ridges like ordinary people, and they had to constantly fight along the way, enough for them to walk for several months. The fastest now were the few little god venerables led by Dongfangzi. They tried to avoid fighting ordinary giant beasts. Unless they couldn't avoid it, they generally didn't take action. Dongfangzi wanted to find leader-level giant beasts, but they were not easy to find. A month had passed without finding one. He had encountered headman-level giant beasts a few times, bringing Dongfangzi thousands of points. However, thousands of points were a drop in the bucket, and the gap between him and Lin Moyu was getting bigger and bigger. Chapter 1497. Every era has guys that make people despair. The ranking on the mission points list was like a needle, piercing the hearts of every genius. Lin Moyu was far ahead, and for the first few days, people could see some hope. But after a month, this hope had become extremely slim. 1. Lin Moyu, 28,382 points. 2. Lin Mohan, 8,621 points. 3. Dongfangzi, 3,312 points. 4. Zhuangbai, 3,121 points. 5. Wei Bowen, 3,099 points. In a month, except for Lin Moyu and Lin Mohan, who firmly occupied the top 2 spots, the rankings behind them were constantly changing. In the first 10 days, Shui Zilan of the Xuanwu Star region had been going hand in hand with Dongfangzi, and the two were constantly fighting for third place. Later, for some reason, Shui Zilan's efficiency decreased significantly, and the speed of scoring became slower and slower, and she had now fallen out of the top 10. Just when Dongfangzi thought that his third place was stable, Zhuangbai and Wei Bowen came out. When everyone's realm was suppressed to the first rank of God King, Dongfangzi's advantage, although it existed, was not obvious. You have your trump cards, and I naturally have mine. Dongfangzi put away the mission points list. There is still time. Now, at most, we have only traveled 1/3 of the journey. The remaining 2/3 are the key. If I'm not mistaken, headman level and leader level giant beasts will definitely appear. As long as I can kill a leader level giant beast, I can surpass Lin Moyu and become number 1. Leader level giant beasts are definitely not easy to kill, but for me, it shouldn't be difficult. Lin Mohan's sword was very powerful, but it should not be able to kill a leader level giant beast. Lin Moyu's methods are still unknown, but his realm is only at the 3rd rank of God King, and his methods should be inclined to crowd attacks, and may not be suitable for killing leader-level giant beasts. I still have a chance. Dongfangzi had his own plans. In a month, he had seen Lin Mohan's sword time and time again, and he already had a bottom line in his heart. Moreover, he had noticed Lin Moyu's scoring method. In most cases, it increased by 1 point. That is to say, the vast majority of Lin Moyu's points came from ordinary giant beasts. From this, it can be inferred that Lin Moyu has a powerful group-killing ability. Dong Fangzi had to admit that in this regard, he was not as good as Lin Moyu in the same realm. But he was, after all, a little god venerable, and the kind who had half a foot into the Lost Star River. If it comes to instant explosive power, he believes he can crush Lin Moyu. As for Zhuang Bai and Wei Bowen, who came out later, Dong Fangzi did not take them seriously. His goal was to surpass Lin Mohan and Lin Moyu, not to compete for third place. The current ranking is only temporary. Lin Moyu stood on the top of the mountain, looking into the distance. As far as the eye could see, there were continuous high mountains. The appearance of each mountain was similar, making it easy to get lost. We've probably walked about 1/3 of the way. There are many giant beasts on the path I chose, but I don't seem to have found headman level and leader level giant beasts. Should I change direction? Although my current points are far ahead, they are actually a dream bubble. If someone kills a leader-level giant beast, they can surpass me. 2. Lin Moyu roughly calculated that if he continued along this path and walked to the end, his points could double again, reaching approximately 90,000 to 100,000. In reality, this wasn't even as many points as he would get from a single leader-level behemoth. The 10,000-meter undead eye appeared in the sky once more, its undead flames gazing into the distance. Through the undead vision, Lin Moyu saw the path behind him. Although he couldn't see everything clearly, he got a general idea. The path he had chosen had a large number of behemoths. In fact, it had the most behemoths of all the directions. However, there was also a problem: there were no captain-level or leader-level behemoths. Lin Moyu realized this halfway through, and now he decided to change direction. The undead eye slowly rotated in the sky, searching for lieutenant-level and leader-level behemoths. In the undead vision, intense flames of the soul continuously flickered. The stronger the soul fire, the stronger the behemoth. At the same time, the undead vision could also distinguish between the soul fires of behemoths and cultivators, as there was a fundamental difference between the two. A month passed, and the 100 cultivators had completely dispersed, making it difficult to meet again. The undead eye searched for nearly a full circle but didn't find any leader-level behemoths. It did find a few lieutenant-level behemoths, but they were all very far apart. Lin Moyu chose the lieutenant-level behemoth closest to him and changed his direction. The tea party in front of the palace continued, and a month was merely the blink of an eye for existences at the other shore realm. Because of Holy Venerable Hao's expectations for Lin Moyu, both Elder Lin and Madame Yu were paying close attention to him. They both saw Lin Moyu suddenly stop and then change direction. Elder Lin followed the direction Lin Moyu was heading and said in a low voice, "He's going towards the location of a lieutenant-level behemoth." Madame Yu lightly parted her lips and said, "He initially chose the golden road with the most behemoths, but now he suddenly changed direction. It seems he has a way to judge the number and strength of behemoths." Elder Lin said, "If it's as Holy Venerable Hao said, and his summoned strongest combat power reaches Minor God Venerable, then lieutenant-level and ordinary behemoths would be no different to him. He could even easily kill leader-level behemoths, and he also has a way to find them." Tisk tisk, the other little guys are going to be completely despairing. Should I add some dishes for him and increase the difficulty? As he spoke, he looked at Holy Venerable Hao. Holy Venerable Hao smiled and said, "Do as you please, but I think it's better not to break the rules. Besides, despair isn't necessarily a bad thing. In every era, there will always be someone who stands out. Just like the war god, who single-handedly ended an era and created a new one. Who among his contemporaries wasn't in despair?" Elder Lin raised an eyebrow. Holy Venerable Hao's words implied that he considered Lin Moyu to be on par with the war god. At least in Holy Venerable Hao's mind, Lin Moyu's talent was no worse than Xiao Zontian's back then. Elder Lin drained his cup of tea, sighed, and said, "It's a pity. If the war god could meet Lin Moyu, perhaps he would consider taking him as a disciple." Madame Yu refilled Elder Lin's tea and said, "Don't talk about impossible things." Holy Venerable Hao gently shook his head and said, "It's not entirely impossible. It depends on fate." He didn't say anything more. Elder Lin and Madame Yu exchanged glances, and with tacit understanding, they didn't ask further. Holy Venerable Hao knew many secrets that they didn't. If he could say it, Holy Venerable Hao would definitely say it. If he didn't say it, there was no point in asking. Dong Fangzi was very lucky and finally found a lieutenant-level behemoth. It was a wolf-like behemoth, over 10 meters tall, with fur-like arrows, standing on end, looking very terrifying. However, for Dongfangzi, a lieutenant-level behemoth was not enough. It only took Dongfangzi less than a minute to kill it. As I thought, lieutenant-level behemoths are at the 3rd stage of the God King realm, infinitely close to the 4th stage. Lieutenant-level behemoths are worth 1,000 points, so the leader-level behemoths worth 100,000 points should be at the 5th stage of the God King realm. 5th stage of the God King realm, although it will take some effort, I can still deal with it. At this moment, Dongfangzi's eyes narrowed slightly as he saw a ball of white light, and inside the white light was a piece of white jade token, right next to the behemoth's head. White jade token, not bad luck. Chapter 1498. Hope given, now to take back. Killing a lieutenant-level behemoth and obtaining a white jade token directly increased his points by 2,000. Although 2,000 points wasn't much, it was a crucial step for Dongfangzi. He verified his idea and confirmed that what he thought was feasible. The white jade token turned into white light and dissipated in his hand, turning into points. Dongfangzi couldn't wait to open the task point leaderboard. 1. Lin Moyu, 28,882 points. 2. Lin Mohan, 9,021 points. 3. Dongfangzi, 5,612 points. 4. Zhuangbai, 3,421 points. Although his points were still incomparable to Lin Moyu's, not even a fraction, the gap between them had indeed narrowed. Since the last time he checked the point leaderboard, Lin Moyu's points had increased by 500, and Lin Mohan's points had increased by 400. However, his own points had increased by 2,300. As long as he killed a few more lieutenant-level behemoths, he would have a chance to catch up with Lin Mohan. If he could kill a leader-level behemoth, he could directly surpass Lin Moyu and become number 1. That's right, that's how it is. As long as I find a leader-level behemoth, I can become number 1. Leader-level behemoths are at least at the 5th stage of the God King realm, and it's even very likely that they've reached the 6th stage. After the realm is suppressed, not many people can defeat a leader-level behemoth. I can mobilize a part of the power of the Law Galaxy and kill a leader-level behemoth with a little effort. Dongfangzi's eyes burned with a fire called belief. He seemed to see hope, to see the possibility of surpassing Lin Moyu. But soon, a bucket of cold water was poured over his head. Lin Moyu's points suddenly increased by 1,000. Dongfangzi was stunned, and it took him a full 3 seconds to react. He also killed a lieutenant-level behemoth. Then Lin Moyu's points changed again, increasing by another 1,000. Directly breaking through the 30,000 mark, reaching 30,882 points. Not only did he kill a lieutenant-level behemoth, but he also obtained a white jade token. The 2-point changes were like 2 heavy punches hitting Dongfangzi's head. His whole body felt cold, and the only trace of joy he had vanished. Not only did the gap between them not narrow, but it widened again. At this moment, Lin Mohan's points also changed, increasing by 1,000 points. Needless to say, she had also killed a lieutenant-level behemoth. With the combat power that Lin Mohan had shown, killing a lieutenant-level behemoth was not difficult. Dongfangzi recovered from the blow, and the slightly dazed look in his eyes rekindled with fire. I still have a chance. He can kill lieutenant-level behemoths, but he may not be able to kill leader-level behemoths. And even if he can kill leader-level behemoths, then we'll see who kills more. A behemoth is worth 100,000 points. As long as I kill a few more, my points can still surpass him. There's also the purple jade token. If I'm lucky, one is worth 200,000 points. 3. Dongfangzi constantly consoled himself, regaining his confidence. Lin Mo, who was extremely far away from him, had no thoughts at all. After killing the chieftain-level giant beast, he once again summoned the Eye of the Undead to search. He still didn't find any traces of the leader-level giant beast, but he did find a few chieftain-level giant beasts. Besides the chieftain-level giant beasts, Lin Mo also saw a few souls belonging to cultivators. They had already surpassed him on the journey and walked ahead of him. Lin Mo knew that he wasn't walking slowly, it could only be said that the other party was walking faster. There must be a purpose for walking fast. From Tinder Island to leaving Wanshan continent, the total distance in a straight line exceeds 400,000 kilometers. In the first 100,000 kilometers, there are only ordinary giant beasts and elite-level giant beasts. From 100,000 kilometers onwards, chieftain-level giant beasts will appear. Leader-level giant beasts should appear in the last part of the journey, and there won't be too many of them. Judging from the ratio of points, the strength of the leader-level giant beasts should be around the 5th to 6th rank of God King. If someone specializes in killing leader-level giant beasts, they might really be able to surpass me. Killing a leader-level giant beast guarantees at least 100,000 points, and with good luck, it's 200,000 points. That's equivalent to killing 200,000 ordinary giant beasts. He opened the mission points bank to check, and found that Dongfang Zi's points had suddenly increased a lot, knowing what he had done. It also verified his guess. Not only Dongfang Zi, in Lin Mo's opinion, others might also choose to do this. Especially those small god venerables, they all have trump cards, and if they use their trump cards, they might be able to kill a leader-level giant beast. Moreover, these people, in all likelihood, will not be willing to let him get first place. They will definitely try to surpass him. There are only two ways, one is to kill leader-level giant beasts, and the other is to get the Violet Jade token. The Violet Jade token is too rare, the continent is so big, who knows which corner it's hidden in. Killing leader-level giant beasts is much more reliable, and there is also a chance to get the Violet Jade token. Lin Mo believed that as long as those people weren't stupid, they would definitely choose to kill leader-level giant beasts. This is the only chance to surpass him. That's about it, hope has already been given to you, now it's time to erase it. Then Lin Mo slowly raised his head, looking at the formation above his head. His gaze seemed to penetrate the formation, seeing the starry sky outside Wanshan continent. Old Lin, who was observing Lin Mo in the palace, suddenly froze. He found us. Holy Venerable Hao shook his head, it's not finding, but noticing our peeping. Don't forget that he is also a 5th grade Violet Jade soul. Madam Yu nodded, the 5th grade Violet Jade soul is incomparably sharp, our peeping will indeed be noticed. Old Lin's pupils suddenly shrank, what is he going to do? Madam Yu looked over upon hearing this, her beautiful face also revealing a complex expression. Holy Venerable, do you know what he is going to do? Holy Venerable Hao smiled, that brat is too bad, he is going to erase all hope for others. He must have known the rules of the mission a long time ago, and what he did before was not hurried, just to give others a little hope. Now, he is going to take back these hopes. Yu Fu 770 was very smart and immediately understood what was going on, but if he does this, he will offend people, right? Holy Venerable Hao shook his head, when your strength makes others unable to be jealous, it doesn't count as offending people. Old Lin agreed with Holy Venerable Hao's words, that's true, a truly powerful person doesn't need to care about other people's opinions. Holy Venerable Hao continued, besides, it's also good to frustrate their spirit, they are usually arrogant and don't listen to anyone, this time let them know that there is heaven beyond heaven, and there are people beyond people. ... Lin Mo did feel the peeping of Holy Venerable Hao and the others, his soul was too sensitive, any peeping could not be hidden from him. However, he didn't find it strange, he had long known that someone would be paying attention to this mission. After all, what is gathered inside are the seeds of the human race, and it would be bad if something went wrong. Since you want to see, then I'll let you see enough. Lin Mo didn't deliberately hide his strength, some things can't be hidden if you want to, it's better to show it generously. A large number of skeleton god warriors appeared around him, rushing in all directions. The skeleton god warriors split into two, one half rushed into the mountains and forests, and the other half leapt into the ocean, beginning to wantonly slaughter ordinary giant beasts and elite-level giant beasts. At the same time, tens of thousands of skeleton god generals flew out, their target was chieftain-level giant beasts, and even leader-level giant beasts. Even if his own realm is suppressed to the 1st rank of God King, the skeleton god generals still possess a combat power equivalent to the 8th rank of God King. Solving the chieftain-level giant beasts and leader-level giant beasts is a matter of minutes. Chapter 1499 Lin Mo is attacking hearts. Outside the palace, by the tea table. The expressions of Old Lin and Madame Yu were exactly the same, somewhat stiff. Old Lin squeezed out a sentence, this kid, how many summoned creatures does he have? He knew that Lin Mo's summoned creatures wouldn't be too few, but he never thought there would be so many. Madame Yu was also shocked, I'm afraid there are already several million. Holy Venerable Hao shook his head, I'm not too sure about the exact number, but there should be tens of millions. Tens of millions, Madame Yu said, if his summoned creatures can be upgraded synchronously with his realm, when he achieves God Venerable, he will have an army of tens of millions of God Venerables. Old Lin said in a deep voice, if that's really the case, our human army will sweep all races. An army of millions of god venerables, just thinking about it feels terrifying. If that's really possible, which race in the great world can stop the human race? Even they, facing an army of millions of god venerables, would have a headache. If they were all high-level god venerables, even they would have to retreat. Holy Venerable Hao was not sure at this time. Spells have limits, where the limit is, he can't be sure. Let's see, this matter is hard to say. Holy Venerable Hao said in a low voice, but there was expectation in his eyes, hoping that day would come. If that's really the case, the human race will be the undisputed #1 race in the great world, no one can compare with it. Lin Mo didn't release all the skeleton god warriors. Releasing 10 million skeleton god warriors is already amazing enough, there's no need to add more. 10 million skeleton god warriors, 10,000 skeleton god generals, are enough to pacify Wanshan continent. Next, is the moment when hope is shattered. Lin Mo smiled, a wicked smile. Occasionally being a little bad is also a regulator in the cultivation life. From the beginning of the mission, he said that he would do something big. Now the big one is coming, I only hope that others can catch it, and don't be hit too hard. With a smile, Lin Mo trekked through mountains and rivers, continuing to move forward. The skeletons rushed into the mountains like wolves and tigers, and the various giant beasts inside were in trouble. No matter where they were hiding, they could not escape the undead vision of the skeletons. One giant beast after another was killed, turning into Lin Mo's points. There are countless mountains, countless giant beasts, and the skeletons went completely crazy. Zhuangbai held a piece of white jade token in his hand, and watched with his own eyes as the white jade token turned into starlight and disappeared in his hand. The joy on his face was hard to hide, even he who was always calm. Unexpectedly getting a piece of white jade token proves that he is lucky and careful enough. This white jade token was in the center of a big tree, a piece of bark on the tree had fallen off, letting him discover the anomaly. After some searching, he found the white jade token. After getting the points, Zhuangbai took the opportunity to open the mission points bank to check his points. Seeing that his points had increased by 1,000, and he was still ranked 4th, Zhuangbai didn't find it surprising. 4. Then he naturally looked at Lin Moyu's score. Instantly, he froze, unable to move an inch. Lin Moyu, 72,345 points. How could this be? Just 2 hours ago, he had just broken 30,000 points. He increased by more than 40,000 points in 2 hours. How did he do it? In the few seconds he watched, the score continued to rise and change, adding dozens of points in the blink of an eye. Zhuangbai knew Lin Moyu somewhat and quickly thought of a possibility. That was that Lin Moyu had released a large number of skeletons and started indiscriminately slaughtering the giant beasts. He didn't know how many skeletons Lin Moyu had. He and Lin Moyu had only fought in the human emperor arena. However, based on his speculation, Lin Moyu must have a large number of skeletons. He watched Lin Moyu's score rise like a rocket, breaking through the 80,000 mark, and the upward trend seemed to be getting faster and faster. What's the point of comparing? Zhuangbai showed a wry smile. Lin Moyu's score completely despaired him. Even if he found a leader-level giant beast, Lin Moyu's score would have risen to who knows where. This guy really doesn't give people a chance. Zhuangbai was a little helpless and a little disheartened. The strategy he had thought of before was now all in vain. As the skeleton divine warriors became more and more dispersed, the efficiency of killing ordinary giant beasts continued to increase, and Lin Moyu's score also increased. More and more people noticed this, and they all widened their eyes in disbelief. Some people sat down on the ground and couldn't help but curse. Some people suspected that there was something wrong with the human emperor network and couldn't believe what was happening in front of them. Dongfangzi was the most severely affected. When he saw Lin Moyu's score break 100,000, he couldn't help but roar. A faint river of laws appeared behind him. The power of the river of laws poured out uncontrollably, collapsing a mountain. This is impossible. This is absolutely impossible. There must be something wrong. There's something wrong with the human emperor network. Lin Mohan saw the change in score and giggled, "Little you, you're really attacking their hearts." Xu Jiangxing looked helpless. "Senior brother Lin, aren't you being a bit too scary?" Wei Bowen's face was livid, his eyes were spitting fire, but he didn't say a word. However, his fists were clenched, and he was constantly trembling, obviously furious. Everyone present was a genius, and they were all top figures among geniuses. Everyone had pride in their bones, and no one would really be convinced. But now, they had to be convinced. Lin Moyu was really too far ahead of them. This was an advantage that was simply unimaginable. On Tinder Island, Xiaomeng had been watching the mission score list. Although she was not a member of this mission, as the only administrator on Tinder Island, she could also see the score list. At this time, she was also stunned, her breathing became rapid, her throat was dry, but she couldn't say anything. What happened in Wanshan continent was seen by the three other shore existences in the starry sky. Everyone's performance entered their sight. Some were angry, some were helpless, some were unwilling, and some were indifferent. In their eyes, all kinds of performances were normal, which was a reflection of personality and emotions. As old monsters who had lived for who knows how many years, they naturally saw through it. The important thing was not the manifestation of emotions, but how everyone's will and thoughts would change after the emotions. In their opinion, whether the Tao heart was firm, whether it would be devastated after being hit, was very important. Only when they reached their realm would they know how important the Tao heart was. Over the countless years, how many divine venerables, and how few could eventually set foot on the other shore. After a large number of divine venerables reached their peak, they were all stuck before the other shore, unable to reach the shore until their lifespan ended. On the surface, it was a problem with the soul, because the soul was stuck and could not reach the 5th grade purple jade soul. But no one knew how to break through the soul. Only those in the other shore realm like House Sage Venerable could have some insights, which was related to will and the Tao heart. House Sage Venerable said calmly, "I have already asked the Human Emperor Network to record their performance, and the Human Emperor Network will analyze it." Madam Yu chuckled. This time, it may be the first time many people have suffered setbacks, which is indeed very meaningful. The Human Emperor Network can roughly analyze their future possibilities through everyone's reactions. Although it is not accurate, it has a certain reference value. In fact, this kind of analysis has been going on all the time by the Human Emperor Network, targeting those Tinder geniuses in the human race. It's just that most people don't know it, even the Divine Venerable wouldn't know it. Only the real high-level officials can see the analyzed data. Chapter 1500 Adults must be responsible for their choices. More and more people began to give up. They felt that there was no need for them to compete anymore. The leaderboard seemed to freeze, and the scores of many people no longer changed. Lin Moyu's actions this time hit almost everyone. They were all geniuses, especially those from the Hall of War Gods and the Divine City. How proud they were on weekdays. But this time, Lin Moyu pressed their pride on the ground, rubbed it back and forth, sparking a lot of sparks, rubbing out a lot of blood, and rubbing it beyond recognition. Killing people is to punish the heart. Lin Moyu didn't kill people, he directly punished the heart. The three of House Sage Venerable saw it in their eyes and did not stop Lin Moyu from beginning to end. If someone's Tao heart collapses because of this, then he is to blame and is completely unworthy of the name of genius. The highest achievement of this kind of person is the Divine Venerable. Does the human race lack Divine Venerables? The human race has always wanted top powerhouses. What is a top powerhouse? The other shore realm counts. Therefore, losing some geniuses is nothing at all. From ordinary people to before the other shore, they are all sifting through the sand. On the leaderboard, except for Lin Moyu's score, which was still rising at an alarming rate, only Lin Mohan's score was still changing. The scores of the rest of the people hardly moved for most of the day. Until half a day later, someone's score finally changed significantly again. Chu Shang's score suddenly increased by 2,000. He killed a head of 180-eyed giant beasts and was lucky enough to obtain a piece of white jade token. Chu Shang was holding a straw in his mouth and a thick-backed war knife in his right hand. The war knife was just a true God Realm magic weapon, but in Chu Shang's hands, it was not weaker than a God King Realm magic weapon. The huge head-level giant beast was lying next to Chu Shang. Chu Shang didn't even look at it, strode over it, and continued to walk forward. While walking, he muttered to himself, "Lin Boy's score is so high, what's it to me? There are many powerful people in the world, am I not going to live? Did the people who were with Shao War God back then all commit suicide?" These words seemed to be comforting, but they were not without reason. Chu Shang was rough on the outside but meticulous on the inside, and his Tao heart was firm, so he recovered first. After Chu Shang, Xu Jiangxing's score also began to increase. Xu Jiangxing held a long bow and shot and killed an ordinary giant beast. Cultivation is not competing with others but competing with oneself. As long as I don't admit defeat, no one can defeat me. The two were one after the other, not far apart. 5. Then Zhuangbai also joined their ranks. They had a common point. They no longer regarded Lin Moi and Lin Mohan as rivals but regarded themselves as rivals. As long as they surpassed themselves, that would be enough. The actions of these few people were like a timely rain, pouring over everyone's heads. Some people woke up as if from a dream, and some people suddenly understood. More and more people began to take action, and they recovered from the blows one after another. Lin Moi watched the changes in the points list and had already deduced the general process. As expected, they are all very smart. They can figure it out with just a little prompting. Flowers in a greenhouse will eventually have to come out to bask in the sun and wind. He was like a mature person who had been through it all. Even though he was the youngest of all, he spoke words that did not match his age at all. In fact, Lin Moi did not go too far. The skeleton god warriors he sent out avoided the roads chosen by everyone. The giant beasts killed by the skeleton god warriors were all in places that no one had chosen. The Wanshan continent is very large, and a mere 100 people scattered inside are not even an ant. There were giant beasts for Lin Moi to kill. The competition that had stopped for less than a day started again, and many geniuses who had recovered from the blows began a new round of competition. But in this round of competition, the opponent has been replaced by himself. Dongfang Zi also recovered from the blow. He said in a low voice, "Lin Moi, although I lost to you in the mission, I will definitely be able to defeat you in the 4-star region competition. Not only in the 4-star region competition, but even after you enter the Divine City, I will continue to win." Wei Bowen looked at the points that were already out of reach. How could the people of my War God Temple lose to you? We are the strongest. When I return to the War God Temple and receive the War God inheritance, I will definitely surpass you and reach a level you can never reach. Holy Venerable Hao looked at this scene and was very satisfied. These little guys are not bad, and there are a few promising ones among them. Madam Yu said, Chu Shang has hope of stepping into the other shore. Old Lin said, that Xu Jiangxing is also good. If I remember correctly, BGAD, he should be from the Shu family of the Divine City. Then he sighed again, it's a pity about Dongfang Zi. Holy Venerable Hao said with some disdain, there is nothing to regret. Everyone has to be responsible for their own choices. He ruined his own future, and no one can save him. In order to achieve outstanding results in the 4-star region competition, Dongfang Zi relied on his talent to forcibly accept half of the gifts without stepping into the Divine Venerable realm. Although most of the problems can be made up for afterwards, an imperfect seed has already been planted. Becoming a Divine Venerable is naturally not a problem, but if you want to step into the other shore, there is no way in this life. Standing at the height of Holy Venerable Hao, he would not sympathize with such a person, let alone feel sorry for him. Choose your own path, and you need to bear whatever consequences. Time passed quickly, and the preliminary round of the 4-star region competition finally ended after lasting for a whole year. The real final will be held in a month, and all the contestants participating in the final will be uniformly teleported there before the final is held. In the human race's 4 great star regions, only 100 people from each star region are finally qualified to participate in the final. In addition to the seed players selected by the 4 domain masters, the War God Temple's people, and the people from the Divine City. In the end, there are a total of 500 people participating in the final. Among them, the seed players, the War God Temple, and the Divine City people, although they occupy the rankings, do not occupy the qualifications to enter the Divine City. Therefore, the final 100 places to enter the Divine City will also be generated from the 400 players who stand out from the preliminary round. In this way, the hostility of these players who have participated in one preliminary round after another towards the seed players will be greatly reduced. After all, one of the most important rewards of the 4-star region competition is the qualification to enter the Divine City. If you don't grab my qualification, then I'll just let you do whatever you want. In the history of previous years, seed players are generally stronger than preliminary round players. Their rankings will also be higher than them. But there are often accidents, and seed players can also fail. For example, the law is restrained, the magic weapon is restrained, and so on. Some seed players, although powerful, lack combat experience and may also be defeated. This kind of thing is more likely to happen among the players from the Divine City and the War God Temple. The 4-star region competition is a grand event for the human race, and almost everyone is looking forward to the exciting competition a month later. Many races that have good relations with the human race have also begun to move. They come to the human race as guests and participate in this grand event as guests. There are also many races with ordinary relations with the human race. They will come to participate in the grand event, and these races have their own purposes. But because they are not enemy races, the human race generally does not refuse. As for those hostile races, they will try every means to obtain information about the competition. Especially the geniuses who stand out in the competition will become their targets for targeting and assassination. In the Wanshan continent, Lin Moi came to the end. In front of him was a high mountain that pierced the dome. Not a single high mountain, but a mountain range connected into one piece. He had seen this mountain range outside the Wanshan continent before. It was circular and surrounded the entire continent, so it was called the Wanshan continent. To leave the continent, one must cross over. Here, Lin Moi finally saw the leader-level giant beast.